This year's been, like, really heavy.
Yeah, tell me about it.
With, I've got all these problems with my house now because it's an older home, and I mean, thank God we got Obama in office again for another 4 years.
I'm grateful about Obama. I'm just, skeptical of some of the policies he's kind of talking about.
Yeah.
I think he could pull stuff through, but
the septic tank in my backyard has, like, damaged leach lines.
There's so much information. It's information age, and it's hard to get attention.
It's gross. There's mosquitoes breeding in the water, and I mean, I wouldn't even call it water. It's kind of like black.
And that's hard, especially with the schedules we work, and like meeting a woman is already difficult. It just exponentially, it got weird.
Hey guys. Oh, sorry.
So yeah, you okay? Hi.
Oh, nothing. You guys okay?
We were.
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna tell you. Solid is shipped.
What?
What?
They're here.
Tactical reload. F4. George Sears! President George Sears, mother effer! Yeah! Yeah! Get out! He's got get out! 2P90! Fuck you, Sam! 2P90! Get away! Get away! Yeah! Fuck you! Batman! Oh. Whoa! 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 Batman, stop! Fox Dynamite!
25 years.
Shut it off!
Welcome. Rejoice, we are here to pay homage and say thanks on this Thanksgiving weekend to Hideo Kojima. We are going to be taking your Skype calls.
Colonel,
We're going to be talking to the one and only David Hayter.
how are you doing?
Right through the board, we've got the NPC on lock.
What's up?
Call in. Rocco, would you join me here upon this throne?
Hey, welcome everybody. Welcome. We're doing it. Finally, we're doing it. The MGS5.
Now, people hyped
Cast.
this.
Yeah.
They wanted it so bad.
Yeah, people
When's it
did
coming?
hype it.
When are you going to do it?
Yeah.
When are you going to talk about your thoughts on the game?
Yeah.
I think they got themselves all hyped up for maybe
Everything.
everything.
Yeah.
You think?
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, I think it was a good move.
You want to do me a
more
favor?
hype, the better. Yeah.
Oh, hit that button, Rick. Just hit that button.
This one?
Right there. Yeah. We got to hold it down. That is the sound of an incoming codec. Do we have Skype calls coming in?
Yeah, Skype is here. You can Skype us. Our name on Skype is Mega64 Podcast.
I know a lot of the Poorly Played stream viewers have been telling me that they want to Skype in. They can't wait to discuss Metal Gear. So we're going to be going back and forth between Skype calls. We'll also get the ball rolling and jump off of Skype at times. I think the only similar cast to this that we've done that I can think of is we did that like massive 4-hour Evangelion 3.0 stream,
Yeah.
spoiler stream.
Yes.
But this is in the same genre. I like the Skype logo up there. I do support.
Hey, we are sponsored.
We are sponsored by, although Kickapoo is in the house today, Skype is taking it on.
Yeah.
Thank you
I'm
for...
gonna have a sip.
Have
Thank
a
you,
sip of that.
Kickapoo.
That's good. Yummy. What? You didn't like it?
No, I did.
Oh, okay.
That was somebody else.
Well, if you want to discuss Metal Gear Solid 5. And Rocco, that includes the first game, the demo that we were sold.
Yeah.
I'm speaking with full facetiousness here.
Oh.
The first part of Metal Gear Solid 5, why can't the name is not coming to me?
Phantom Pain?
No, but the first game.
Now I don't know what you're talking about. I got confused.
The fucking chat's gonna help me because it's been a while. But the Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain, consisted of 2 games.
Ground Zeroes.
Ground Zeroes, thank you.
I missed what you were saying.
No,
sorry.
I understand. I understand. You're trying to do Skype at the same time. We're getting it going.
Yeah.
But Ground Zeroes and The Phantom Pain combined put Metal Gear Solid 5 at the top of my list, I think.
Yeah.
Above all the Metal Gear games, and that is one franchise that I've said over the years. It's been, for me, it was Resident Evil and the Metal Gear Solid series. Mm. And now that Resident Evil's kind of taken this dip in quality, the Metal Gear games have stayed and surpassed my expectations, and I've always looked forward to playing those more than anything else, especially for the last 10 years or so. And now, with this kind of grand finale coming to a close, it's bittersweet, but it is by far definitely my favorite Metal Gear game. I think I can say that.
Really? Of all of them?
Of all of them, I love so many parts. I think before this, I would have said, and I think I have gone between Metal Gear 3 and Metal Gear 4 as being my favorite. But I think hands down, far and away, playing the Phantom Pain. As far as gameplay, the story is different than what we were used to with Metal Gear games.
Yeah.
And we'll get into all of the, I guess, marks against the series that it had as well. But yeah, I think far and away, this is now surpassed and is my favorite.
I do think it's the most fun to play of all of them.
Yes.
I don't really see how you could say that about the other ones. Like, the other ones are way fun, but this one has more and better gameplay than any of them in the series. I'm not going to say it's my favorite. I think the soul of Metal Gear is still its story, and I do think the story was a bigger core to the other ones. So I'll probably pick one of the other ones as my favorite. But in terms of a video game, I don't know. I didn't play any of the other ones for 100+ hours. So, it's
that's true.
So in terms of playing it, I agree.
That's a key component too. Is just the gameplay overall of the series. The gameplay in this can be approached from, I don't even think there's a number of ways. It's just up to you and the gear that you choose to load out with.
Yeah.
Now, I'm further in on the game. I'm in the 70%. And I've got the crazy stealth camo. And I've got some of the things, some of the funner guns. Like, I've got a Fulton cannon for the D-Walker.
Yeah.
That if you just kind of rewind this thing and shove it out.
I don't think I got I
Dude,
don't think I got to that point.
It'll restrict your score, but it is you come up on a tank, even if it spots you, you're just like, it takes a while to wind up.
Yeah.
But it punches a canister out, and it's got a short throw, but once it hits, automatic, like, warp hole, Fulton shit out. Like, the way you can approach the game from any angle, I'll go in, just knife, or not just a knife, but just the trank gun. The one thing I noticed, you can really limit the gear you take out to lower your cost. Every time you deploy, you got to spend GMP. Yeah. And I've tried to do these really precise, high-valued missions, but with almost no gear, so it doesn't cost me anything. But I find it you can not have the weapon on your back, but you still have to have some main weapon. I think the AK-47 is the cheapest. But you have to have both the rocket arm or some type of arm. If you are playing with Solid Snake as well. Or the smallest pistol, you gotta kind of have some gear. I wish you could go out with absolutely nothing.
I was gonna say, what kind of arm do you normally use?
Right now, I've been having a lot of fun with the blast arm, but that's, I think, because at my progression level, I've recently got that one. The Arma J-Hoodie was fun for a while.
I was using that a lot. I
used it a couple times, and it would get me in trouble, and then also, I'll start to rely on something too much, And before the game changes, because the game will realize, like, these guys are coming in headshotting everyone with tranks. Yeah. Give them helmets, give them riot gear. You know, it adapts to how you're playing to make the game harder for you.
Yeah.
But even before that happens, I'll start to notice, like, I'm relying on the decoys too much. It's too easy. Sure. But for the fucking full armored dudes, that's the only way to get them.
Yeah.
And now I got the stun decoy, so when they try to knife it electrocutes them. It's priceless.
I was relying too much in my game on quiet. I was having quiet go in and just murder entire bases of people, and then they just started sending out these heavy helmet guys. It's like, oh,
it ain't gonna work anymore.
Yeah,
but after a while, though, quiet was so valuable.
Yeah,
she would pop the helmets off after like 1 or 2 shots, and then get the headshot.
Yep.
How did you feel? Now this is the spoiler cast, so we are going to go deep into the story. So Quiet is a character who, towards the end of the game, leaves the game, and you do not get her back.
Yeah.
Much like Aerith in Final Fantasy VII, that was the only other game I've played that had that same feeling. Like, I've invested so much money into her gear, now she's gone forever.
Yeah.
Now, there have been patches, and there are ways to get Quiet back in, but as someone who beat the game when we did, she was gone for the rest of our playthrough. And up until a couple weeks ago, as far as we thought, we'd have to start a brand new game over again to get any of that Quiet gameplay. Yeah. We haven't relied on her so heavily. Did that kind of cost you when she was all of a sudden...
It did, but, by that point, I had spent so much time with the game, I was learning the ins and outs, and I felt like I was a lot better than I was when I initially got her. So I was doing fine. I did really like her character. I liked... I liked having her as my point person,
Did you go...
but I liked what it did for the story more than anything. I liked having... Yeah. Hey, she potentially died. They committed to it.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. That's strong. Well,
she spoke.
It sucks to play, yeah.
So there's this... the whole
I think
underlying...
it was wise for them to do that.
Do you want to explain the whole underlying thing about her not speaking, her name being Quiet?
Yeah.
I thought when that all kind of came around, at first they introduced these vocal cord parasites and the Wolbachia. There's a lot of funny stuff in that dialogue with the code talker.
Parasites copulate.
Mm-hmm. But it made sense after you finished the game. It's like, well, shit, Quiet was this assassin that was sent in, then got brought back because you essentially char her and throw her out a window. Mm-hmm. So she's... gotta have the parasites to keep living.
Yeah.
But the strain she carries was that missing English... I'm stuttering now. That missing...
How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. That missing English strain from the canister that Skullface had.
Yeah.
Because Liquid took one. Well, young... What's his name?
Eli.
Yes. He got one from Trechny Robotnik. What's the kid's name?
Doctor.
It's not Colonel.
Dr.
Robotnik. Well, Young Mantis is...
I'm just calling him Young Mantis.
Makes sense to me.
Third child,
right?
whatever. Third children, whatever you want to say.
So, there's one of the tubes. Then the second one, Snake actually got in the fire and it blew up. Or Venom Snake at this point.
Yeah.
But that third one, I was kind of always wondering, like, what happened to that? It only made sense later that that was the one that she had. Yeah. That's why she couldn't speak English.
Yeah.
And then once she chose to make that recording for Snake, which would be the only safe way for them to communicate, she goes off and dies, essentially, is kind of how the story laid out for me. I thought that was a really cool thing to do.
Yeah.
Snake's always had a love interest in the games, too.
Sure.
And I thought that it worked well. Interesting, though, because she was sent to kill him, but she kind of falls in love with him.
I think she respects having to... What am I trying to say? There's a mutual respect for... There's kind of a unspoken sacrifice. Knowing how it ends. Again, this is a spoiler cast. That is someone... essentially who has donated their life to be someone else.
To carry on the legacy
She has essentially sacrificed her ability to the most valuable thing, communication. She has sacrificed that. I think she sees something in him. They're both committed to their mission in a way that is beyond what most people are, and they have kind of there's a bond there. And I think that was totally appropriate. I think that was, I thought that was nice.
Much with other Metal Gear love interests, there's spying, double agency going on. Like, she's
Yeah.
there working for Skullface,
Yeah.
but then she starts working for... I mean, there's that very common flip-flop spy movie.
Exactly,
Who's the ally? Who's the villain here?
Yeah, it's the same thing with Ava.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Cool little touches to the previous games with Ava. I think they mention her throughout cassette tape recordings and things, being that they start bringing up the Les Enfants Terribles project with Eli and how, at one point through the story, I believe it's Ocelot gets back to you and says, no DNA connection. Boss, Eli is not related to you anyway. And it's like, well, yeah, because you're not Big Boss. You're Venom Snake.
Yeah.
Really cool how the cassette tapes, I think, also played into so much of the story.
Yeah.
From where Quiet can't speak to you unless she's making a recording.
Yeah.
To all the info dump you get, collecting them throughout the missions.
Yeah, I was going to say about that real quick. With the cassette tapes, that was a concept that I didn't really care for that much with the
Peace Walker. Yeah.
They were there, and that was kind of fun, but I had to go out of my way to listen to them, and it wasn't really that conducive to a great experience for me. Mm-hmm. I liked what they offered, but it was kind of hard for me to sit and go through all that. I thought they were fantastic in the Phantom Pain. I like them better than the Codex. Because for me, it's a 2015 evolution of that concept. I shouldn't even say that they are objectively better than the Codex, but they were perfect for this game. Because this game was about open world exploration, running around, you got a long distance to cover.
Yep.
And to me, that was always ample time where, okay, I'm going to put on a cassette and learn about so-and-so as I go and do this.
Well, look how that reflects to real life.
Yeah.
Going to work, I'm going to get on the bus, I'm going to put
you
my
put
headphones
on your headphones, exactly.
while I do my... you're really, really hitting the nail on the head with Kojima's advancement to the 2015 version.
Yeah, and I think it kind of sums up the game in general. Like I still haven't really seen a great review of the game that wasn't it's not this other game, you know, or I should say, sorry, I worded that wrong. I haven't seen a negative review that didn't really hearken to the other ones in terms of I wish it was more like 4, I wish it was more like 3.
They've all been so different.
They're all different, and would it have been cool if he made a game just like 4? Yeah, I would have loved that. I'm sure it would have been fun. But the way I see it, he can keep making the same game over and over, or we can try something completely new. And I appreciate that this game was... I mean, there's some things that I think are missing from the old ones. I'm not saying this turned out perfect, but there were a lot of things in an attempt to advance it to a different kind of setting, a different time. And I liked it for what it was as its own thing, and I really appreciate it for being its own thing. And the tapes just reflect that.
Yeah,
the tapes were great. I think the Codex worked for when they came out and all that stuff. But you really are just sitting there and getting an info dump for 30 minutes, and I really appreciated these being something you could have on as you explore the world for yourself. So, I don't know.
And
I dug that.
I love how you experienced the tapes in that way when you were loading into a mission on your way to infiltrate wherever you were going.
Yeah.
Throw the tape on the cassette and listen to it.
Yeah.
I used the tapes much like I did when I played through Peace Walker. Was like, I would do a mission, and then my reward was to like sit back and I would hang out in the AAC and do my meta game management stuff, like I forget what the deploying your mother base members on other ops to bring back resources. I forgot what you actually call that. But while I would manage all that stuff and decide where I was going to spend GMP to develop weapons, I would be listening to those. Yeah. And like sometimes I wasn't paying attention because I was working on the sniper rifle. Let me rewind it. And really, I loved the fact that I could sit there and listen, and I absorb so much media in audio form only nowadays with podcasts and everything. Yeah. It's a totally different way to enjoy a video game with no visuals. Yeah. I'm so stoked to hear more than anyone the Skullface dialogues. Yeah. When Skullface is... I've listened to the tapes from Ground Zeroes like hundreds of times because they put out that companion app, and I don't know if anyone used that while they played, but my favorite way to play Metal Gear the Ground Zeroes and the Phantom Pain was I put my iPad right on my thigh, and I've got the map right there. Any soldier I've marked, I can quick glance, look down, and see him. I never get spotted. It almost makes the game easier. Yeah. I mean, it really does.
Yeah. I just think that's. I think the idea of having all that dialogue there as you stare at a picture of two characters is an old bypassed product. Like that's just not. I just wouldn't put that in a modern video game.
And what
I thought
it
was better for now.
I totally got off the subject, but having that companion app, you can listen to all the tapes you've unlocked. Mm-hmm. So I would be away from my PlayStation 4. I'd be at work or something. Finish listening to a podcast. Yeah. I want to listen to all those Skullface tapes again. Just hit play all and stick it back in my pocket, and I'm Bluetooth streaming all this content from the game. And that was, I think, the story of him. And all of his scheming and everything, especially the stuff that they get into after you finish the last mission of the game, where he's making, or he's sending stuff over to Zero, and you find out how Zero got into that comatose state where you saw him in Metal Gear 4. I mean, there's really a lot, and I hate that some people skip over the tapes, like they're not enjoying them, or they think that I don't want to sit here and listen to all this. It really is, if you can go and do some extra side ops or just go do some free roam fucking around and listen to the tapes, there's so much cool stuff that ties it to the overall arcing story of the boss's will through Big Boss's will through Zero and everything that you've come to love that gets into the,
Yeah, I think they did a good job too of keeping, there were maybe a couple things in the tapes that I thought I wish this would have been like, up front in maybe a cutscene or something like that. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, I think they did a good job at putting forward the things that mattered to the game, but having things that the hardcore fans would care about because in the tapes. Because a lot of the stuff in the tapes are just info dumps, and it really doesn't lend itself to watch this still on a screen as we relay this to you. And I think that they picked the right things. Generally, there were a couple things that would have been neat. And I bet if they had unlimited time and unlimited budget, you would have seen maybe a few of those things. But I don't know what their situation was.
Well, definitely, I think we'll probably find out more of the development story of this game as time goes on. Yeah. I mean, in December, which is coming up here, Kojima's out of his, I guess, do not compete contract to where he can start
non-compete clause.
Yeah, he can start making video games again and maybe talking a little bit about how the production of this went. And overall,
I'm curious about that.
there are some hiccups that I think a lot of people that were following the production of this game heard about, and everything that's happened with Konami in the last 6 months. But overall, I think we got like one of the best games on our current generation consoles. I mean, nothing has come close to the 150 some hours that I've dumped into this. Yeah. And really having a desire to go back repeatedly and play more. Yes. I was doing something last night. I like to recreate films in the Metal Gear Solid universe. Okay. So did you see there was a great theater, or there's a great film in theaters called Sicario? Benicio del Toro. Sicario? Is that how you say it? Sicario. Benicio del Toro plays this badass, and at one point he gets like dressed up in all black BDUs, ski mask, and he's going in just straight assassinating people. Yeah. You can gear up that way within the game. Mm-hmm. Go out. I was speaking in a Spanish accent. I was coming up to the soldiers, and the two were sitting down to dinner. I shot both their kids. Oh my God. Right in front of them. Cool. Silencer on. It was great. There you go. So you can do just about anything. Yeah.
Just about anything.
I think that means we should take some Skype calls.
You want to take a Skype call?
I think so. Okay. I could spoil the plots of other films.
Well, I just want to say real quick.
Yeah.
I do think I think the unfortunate thing about this game was how much we did hear about behind the scenes leading up to it. Yeah. I do think that influenced a lot. I think there are definite signs of tampering in the game. I love the game. There's definite signs in it of tampering one way or the other. However, I don't know the stories, but
would it be tampering, or would it be something like a roadblock and
Yeah,
we're gonna
or
have
whatever, yeah.
we can't overcome what we're originally planning to do, so now we're gonna have to cut this out.
Yeah,
Or
I
cut
think
a
there's
corner.
I think there's definite signs of okay, either what went wrong here or something's weird.
Or hey, we're not giving you
Yeah.
any more money, and you can't take
Sure.
another 6 months to finish.
Sure,
this.
and that's probably a lot of what happened. But I will say it was unfortunate still hearing all those stories leading up to launch, because any flaw in the game now is, ha! Well, they were kicking him out, and they're not going to. They wouldn't let him do this, and it's like we don't know any of the stories.
And I don't think it's so. There's a lot of Konami bashing, just
Sure.
straight up like fuck Konami.
Sure.
You guys fired a genius, all this stuff. We don't know what the fuck
Yeah, we
goes
don't know
on
shit.
in a foreign business market. It's not even an American-run company. So, I mean, there's a lot of questions up in the air. But,
Yeah, exactly. But all I'm saying
Yeah.
is, I enjoyed it for what it was. I recognize those parts that I'm kind of whatever on, but
Well-
I think people in general are too obsessed with behind the scenes on
Yes.
stuff, and you really have to divorce yourself from that with anything. I feel like when it comes to just like a video game or this or that, I don't know. I'm trying to look at it objectively and not based on what I've heard.
With the DVD, when you watch the behind the scenes, haven't you finished the film first?
Yeah.
So I feel
Yeah.
like a lot of people were in on the behind the scenes
Yeah.
during development, and then even, and we'll talk about the Blu-ray that came with the collector's edition, had a kind of patchwork together, here's what this last chapter we didn't get to make would
Yeah.
look like. And a lot of people freaked out that this is content that was missing. Well, I don't know if it was necessarily missing
Yeah.
or it was just not completed because of
Yeah.
budget, time, who the fuck knows?
Yeah.
That being said, yeah, it's a bummer we didn't get some of that stuff.
Yeah,
but
yeah, it sucks.
having played the game first and then go into the behind the scenes stuff and see
Yeah.
what's out there, I feel like if you would have done it in that order, you would have no complaints because you would have dumped 150 hours into a great video game.
Yeah. It was really funny seeing people say, "I've spent, I played this for 150 hours and I didn't like it at all." Like, you, man, what do you do that sucks for 150 hours? Like, what? This nail into my ball sack just fucking hurts.
It hurts.
Hold on, come back in 4 more days. I'm going to tell you what I think. What are you doing?
That's what I think.
But anyway, regardless though, I'm just trying to look at it from a perspective where I'm not listening to the behind the scenes rumors.
Yeah.
And still outside of all that, there were things in the game that I felt like this is kind of not what I feel like Kojima would do on his own. I suspect something here.
Well,
so there were moments of that, but
if you do think about it as a film,
Yeah.
which Kojima kind of has this filmmaker quality to
Sure.
his games, stuff gets left on the cutting room floor. Stuff gets edited out.
Yeah.
And for whatever reasons, it's not like it's, content that we didn't get. It was never finished. It was never made. And what you did get, I think, was so far and above worth a AAA title video game comes out at what, $60?
Yeah.
What else have you paid $60 for that you've gotten? Even Rock Band, we can say, the
Yeah.
game that we've got a lot of mileage out of.
lot of mileage
but how
out of.
much DLC have we paid for the thing?
Yeah.
I have yet to spend real money past, the merchandise that I've been buying. But
yeah,
past
exactly.
the original game,
Yeah.
there are some microtransaction options that I've never had a use for. Mother base coins and
Yeah.
stuff like that. It's so optional. And
Yeah.
you can earn that stuff by just playing the game.
Yeah, exactly.
For $60, I really don't see any complaints other than I'm a hardcore Metal Gear fan and it's so different than the other Metal Gear games
Yes.
that I can't dig it.
Yeah.
But for me, it went in the route of other games that I like. The
Yeah.
open world environment
Yeah,
that
yeah.
I love in like a GTA style game.
Sure.
The missions and the kind of refined version of Peace Walker that I feel like this really was, just like a super refined version. It has so many similarities even with the main character. Snake doesn't really talk a lot in
Yeah.
Peace Walker.
Yeah.
And that was a big complaint in this game too, was that Venom Snake doesn't really talk a lot.
Yeah.
For me, I love putting when I play that game, I am, and this is very rare as well, I am so synced up with the controls that I am like I can almost A or S most missions.
Yeah.
Just because I've got this intuitive nature and I put 150 hours into it, and I am Solid Snake when I'm playing. I've got the fucking iPad and I'm looking at the map, and I'm so synced up with it. I've given my own voice to the character, to Snake.
Yeah.
That comes back to the overall end of the game, the whole story that you are Big Boss. You are Snake. This character is looking at himself in the mirror, and you're listening to the audio recording from the real Big Boss, and he's telling you, like, this legacy will carry on. You are Big Boss.
Yeah.
That, to me, was so moving in a way that I can't really express, because I've played every Metal Gear game.
Yeah.
From the PS... I started arguably with Metal Gear Solid. I dabbled with NES stuff, but...
Sure, yeah.
But from the PlayStation, starting with Metal Gear Solid, I've played every game. I've been Snake and Big Boss on every adventure. And then to get to the end of the game, and Kojima's telling me, congratulations, you've played through my entire life's work, and I couldn't have done it. It's Kojima talking to me.
Yes.
Is how I feel.
Yeah,
Do you kind of agree?
Yeah, it's definitely a dialogue with the player. Yeah.
And he's telling you that it couldn't have been possible unless you were Big Boss and you did all this and you accomplished
Yeah,
this.
kind of. Yeah, the legend of, it's almost like he's talking about himself. Like the legend has my name on it, but it's only I only got here because of you.
Yeah.
And
did that make you emotional?
Yeah, that was really special,
From Ground Zeroes having to Metal Gear 3 having to kill the boss.
Yeah.
Throughout the whole series, there's always been these emotional twists and stuff that have really kind of been tearjerkers, and that definitely got me at the end.
Yeah, I agree. There was kind of some people were talking about how Metal Gear Solid 2 had kind of a similar thing, with the ending being kind of a message to the player of the game. It kind of was a statement on the creator to the player and whatever.
Jack giving his whole dialogue.
Yes, and that was a more subtle way of doing that kind of message. But I think this one was less about being a kind of cerebral kind of thought, which 2 was good at. This one was more, hey, fuck it all, I'm talking to you. It was more Kojima to, I'm talking to you directly to end this loop. I'm telling you,
thank you.
We were in this together, and thank you.
And having all of the backstory of him being fired, his like crescendo of the series.
Yeah.
Everything in my head as well. It was such a more impactful thank you.
Yeah.
Because I knew of all that background stuff going on.
That's true.
That being said, I didn't let it interfere with, I'm not getting a full game.
With the narrative.
Yes.
Yeah. I still kind of divorced myself from the behind the scenes stuff. Now going back.
Yeah.
Maybe there was some of that maybe there was some of that kind of sorrow in the ending, whatever. Also, too, now that I've beaten it, at the time, as I was playing it, didn't even enter my mind. But now going back, I do think there is a little bit of thought to put in as far as the storyline with Huey.
Yes.
It is interesting, everything that goes on with him, and it kind of has a strange ending to it. You do know what happens to Huey, given how Metal Gear Solid 2, Hal talks about it, that he drowned in a pool or whatever. Wasn't that what it was?
It was something like that. It was a suicide.
It's been a long time.
I believe it was a suicide.
But anyway,
which makes sense.
Yeah, given
the
that
character's
guy.
development.
But Huey in that game has a really interesting turn of events where he's doing this and this. Okay, I'm helping with this. Okay, cool. Well, what about this? Oh, I didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean to. Yeah, well, what about this? And then the whole crew comes in and they're pushing him against the thing.
They want
do
blood.
this and whatever. And somebody pointed this out. Somebody pointed out in the game that they break his glasses and they give him a new pair of glasses in the game. And the new pair of glasses are the same ones Hideo wears. It is the same pair. And all that happens is, I thought you said you were going to do this. I am doing this. I'm doing my best. I'm going to do this. Oh, I'm going to do this. Okay. Well, what about this? And they're yelling at him and is he lying? Is he not? There's just paranoia kind of everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
And what do they do at the end? they put him on a raft and they
Ship him
say
out.
and they say get out of Mother Base, and he's going, you're gonna wish that you kept me, you're gonna win.
Oh, wow.
And I just wonder if there was some kind of, if that was Hideo trying to tell his story, and if so, it's not like there's right or wrong to it. There isn't like, Huey was the good guy and he did all this stuff and they were wrong.
And they were just paranoid.
No, it's just too in Metal Gear. There kind of is never an evil guy and a good guy. It's always opposing points of view.
Yeah.
And in this game, Huey might just be doing his best, but I was working on this, and that's why the virus got out. Maybe he genuinely didn't try to make the virus infect all those people.
Yeah.
That could be totally genuine. But it was a byproduct of what he did. And the Mother Base crew is like, that ain't gonna work here, dude. You gotta go. That's not to say Huey is the villain. Maybe he really didn't mean to. It's just too...
There was some tampering with the microwave equipment, though, in his lab. There was that character, and maybe this goes back to some budgetary cuts or some timing issues.
Yeah.
The whole development arc with the walker gear that we never got to use.
Yeah.
And you can kind of go look at it in his lab.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's making noises and there's a computer hooked up to it, but then you don't do anything with it.
Do you know what happened with that?
I believe that was something that they were going to try, because you could take out, like, in Peace Walker, you would take Metal Gear Zeke after you developed it out on those missions or whatever.
Sure.
To earn GMP and bring in field resources. Basically the meta game.
Sure.
I thought I had heard it was going to be part of that. Like, you could send that out with your tanks and with your men and stuff.
Sure.
And it would be, this big kind of Metal Gear type thing, similar to Peace Walker. But then it just didn't work or it got scrapped or what?
They actually confirmed in the player's guide.
Yeah?
There's a thing written in there that's like, you were going to be able to use... I'm blanking on the name of it.
Battle Gear.
Battle Gear, is that what
Was
it's
it called a Battle Gear?
Yes.
Yeah.
That you were going to be able to take that out.
Into the real world as a character. Wow.
And it was impossible to balance. It was just
overpowered.
Nothing fucking could hold up to it. It was... And they said, according to this thing, they tried and they went, all right, fuck it.
Take it out.
Yeah, just cut it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we have confirmation on that. I think that's something we actually do know.
I mean, that happens
But
in
you
game
use
development.
you do use Battle Gear in the whatever with the what do you call it, the mission deployments or whatever.
You do use that?
You can use that in that. Yeah, it's a complete. That's why it is. I mean, they do tie it into the story in that way. You can use it as a vehicle in your deployments.
FOB deployment or whatever.
Exactly.
Okay.
In you know what I'm talking about, right? When you program I can't describe it. You deploy when you deploy guys as your little
and I always go in like in between missions, and I've got one FOB that I've purchased, so I can deploy I think up to 4 teams.
Sure.
So I just go like right now I'm deploying them on like D level stuff, so that the storage shed destruction, the guys won't have helmets or they won't have night vision or whatever, or send them out to gather plants or GMP.
Yeah.
Because I've noticed. If you don't actively gather plants and stuff, I've run out of the stuff I need to make the anesthetic rounds. Mm-hmm. So then I can't deploy with that gun unless I send dudes out to the field or go out to my, personally and pick fucking flowers. Mm-hmm. Every once in a while that's happened to me. I don't mind that. Some people have complained, like, I just want to fucking play, I want to shoot guns. Well, you could do that, but you kind of do have to do the meta management while you're in the AAC, which I don't mind. But interesting. Yeah. We were talking about Huey, and then we got onto the Battle Gear stuff.
Just some thoughts. I don't know.
But that is your original thought of that being a message, Huey being sent off.
Yeah, it could be.
And really, there is no villain in the series. You thought Big Boss was the bad guy for the first 4 games.
Yeah.
And you realize, like, this guy's just carrying on his master, the boss's will.
Yeah.
And if he gets vilified in the eyes of the public, so be it. But he's still fighting the good fight.
I think they, it's not a matter of them being anybody turning evil. It's a matter of them, doing what they think is true and right. And I think Big Boss and everyone connected to him, I mean, his whole goal is to just carry on the boss's legacy. I just think they misinterpreted it. I think it's, she was so committed to her thing. Well, I've got to, him building a huge military and doing all these things, it's kind of like the soldier's will. But, she didn't necessarily want a military state to control everything, or whatever. I think it's everyone kind of, taking something a little too far, maybe. And that's why, if you think back, the original ending, they've talked before about the original ending of Metal Gear Solid 4.
Yeah.
What it was going to be was Snake and Otacon being executed. It was going to be...
Oh, really?
It was going to be a gun lineup, like them... Firing Squad. That's what... Yeah. Better name for that. Firing Squad set to Here's to You. Here's to You. That song...
Yeah. We got
that song was originally licensed for that.
Wow.
With the end credits being a operatic version of it.
Well, that song, there's a cover of Here's to You in Metal Gear 4.
Exactly.
During the credits.
That's a remnant of that.
Gotcha.
And because that song is originally from a movie where it was two people, I think, being executed.
Yeah.
And so anyway, they were going to just be... Hideo thought that was the perfect ending because it was them being punished for their crimes. Because they said, hey, no matter how you slice it, every side is doing...
You've got blood on your hands.
Illegal shit to get their point out, out there. And so he's like, why should they be any different? They did heinous stuff to get what they thought was right, as did anyone else. So here's the price. Yeah, and the team basically talked with Hideo and was like, man, but there's just no fucking relief. This game is
sad.
like, yeah, it's just, there's
sad
just
ending.
no... They basically said nobody has no one gets any form of victory. If you're wrapping this up, even if you just let him live a year longer, that's something. Live in peace for a year. Even that is something nice. Give him that. And I think the way that they did it, I thought it ended great. But anyway, whatever. Point is, that's kind of a recurring thing in Metal Gear is going far to achieve your thing, whatever it may be. And another recurring theme that I like in the game. Sorry, I know we were going to take Skype calls in a second.
Oh, we got no time limit.
Yeah, exactly. But one thing I want to say real quick is a big thing in this game too is having to pretend what you're not, and the limits of that kind of having to. I'm trying to think of the best way to word this. Having to pretend to be something to fit in and, survive, basically, with what's going on with Venom Snake in the game. Obviously, that's the ultimate pretending.
But it's almost to the point where he doesn't even know.
Yeah. Well, no, he doesn't. He goes under, they bring up, I love that they brought this back, by the way.
This was great.
The greatest retcon of all time is the self-hypnosis thing that Ocelot does. I love that came back in the tapes. I remember in 4 going, wait, he did fucking hypnosis tricks to make him think he was liquid?
Yeah, make him think he had Liquid's arm.
And I always thought that was goofy, but hey, it's Metal Gear. It worked. It was great. I loved it. It was cheesy and it was fine. But I love that they did that again they basically did that with Venom Snake, to where he believes he's boss. So he's doing that. Ocelot did it to himself, to where he's like, I don't even want the lie to leave myself.
Yeah.
Like, I want to believe it.
Yeah.
So he did it to himself. So he's pretending in another way. You've got everybody kind of trying, even Huey,
doesn't really buy it.
Maybe was kind of not being totally honest a few times. There was just lots of pretending, and what I like too is
Miller has to pretend because he's not under hypnosis. He doesn't really like that he's going along with pretending that this guy's the boss.
Well, yeah. Well, that's a question I have. Is I don't think he was in on it. I don't think he knew until the very end. Very end. There's a conversation at the end with Ocelot and Kaz, and they know.
And Kaz feels like
disappointed.
He feels like Big Boss kind of like let him go. Like your time's here. Use my my proxy.
Yeah.
He feels left out.
I don't think Kaz knows until he is told at the end, and that's the moment you hear.
Okay.
He doesn't hear at the end until the end because he has a lot of words to say about it, and it's clearly after it's all been finished.
It's like to hell with the boss.
Yeah,
he can fuck off.
Yeah, he can go fuck himself. But anyway, so lots of pretending to go on there, and I think I brought up earlier when Huey gets cast off from Mother Base. I think he says it there. He's maybe it's another scene and I'm getting mixed up. I don't know. But he yells that D-Dog, he's not even a dog.
Yeah.
He's a wolf. You know, it's like even to that level, we're going, yeah, it's this. No, it's this. Yeah, it's fine. No, it's fine.
Pretend this is
No,
what it is.
I can't talk. No, I don't ever talk. That's just everybody kind of has to play a role to fit in, and kind of just the dissection of what are you willing to pretend to be if it means going with it, you know? And Huey wasn't able to cut it, you know, and he was cast out, you know. How much are you willing to compromise to, you know,
to stay there.
To stay there. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, just interesting.
To be involved.
I don't have a thought either way on it. Just an interesting thing.
Well, we should take a call.
Yeah.
What's I think Pikachu has been calling in from like the 1st. Can you pick up on that?
From November 1st.
November 1st. He's been on hold. He's been waiting.
Okay.
Now we will talk whatever you want, Metal Gear. We could talk about. We haven't even covered any of the pause stuff.
Yeah.
All the cool little cutscenes and story tidbits that they sprinkle in throughout the open world gameplay. Now, some people didn't like that it would be unlocked with certain conditions after you're doing missions.
Talking about the past thing? Or
Yeah, just pause stuff, but also like other cutscene stuff would kind of enact after you would clear a mission. And people were trying to do missions in order, and it didn't really make sense to them.
Yeah, the way they handled that in the end, specifically in Chapter 2, made no sense. Because like the other day, my brother beat the game, and he was like, wow, that was crazy. And he still had quiet. And I'm like, well, then you haven't beat it all. And he's like, I don't know, they gave me the last one. No, you got to go back. It unlocked. I mean,
46.
Quiet didn't go away until after he beat the game. It's that shit was all messed up. Like I gotta say, like that was not handled well.
I had a few times where like there'd be a glitch in the game, and I'd have to back out of a mission and restart it.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, like a cutscene would kind of occur for me. Maybe after I did a mission and unlocked like 3 things, like I would get 3 cutscenes in a row. So it would be like stacked on top of each other, and I'd be like, oh, that's kind of a little sudden. But nothing that really was game breaking for me.
Yeah. I was gonna say for me it all went out of order. But I knew. I just was careful and I tried to know which one to do.
Do it.
That being said, just real quick about the pause stuff.
Yeah. I
thought the pause stuff was really cool for the sake that it's kind of just fragments of her life without any of the before war had kind of gotten a hold of her, and she's kind of reliving those moments. And when it was over, it was kind of like, what was the point of that?
Yeah.
And you listen to all her tapes, and even in her last one, she's like, even now, I know you're imagining all this. Like she even says in the tape, like this isn't happening, but it's okay, and you can let it go now. And I thought back to, he kind of has it like remember he holds like a butterfly, and then it's gone. And originally I was thinking, well, what's the significance of that? It's not Big Boss. Who cares? But then as it sank in, it was kind of like, wow, that was the medic not being able to handle that he couldn't find that other bomb.
Yeah, couldn't save her.
Yeah, and even though I don't know, there was something kind of poetic about he locked away all his memories, and that was still burrowing beneath all that.
Yeah.
Like,
because he was right there.
That guilt couldn't just be wiped away.
He was right there with that scene that occurs at the end of Ground Zeroes, where Paz jumps out, the helicopters crash into each other, all that. Yeah. That got replayed in kind of remixed throughout the Phantom Pain, wait, what version really happened? Did they get the bomb out? And I loved how the camera would pan around when Snake was in the room, and then he would be in the helicopter, and then it would be him looking at himself in the helicopter, and it would pan back around, and that was
kind of cool. And,
really played with me too, going like, oh fuck, they saved Pot. Like I bit in full hook on the chain.
I didn't. I knew something was up.
I thought I was Big Boss right up into the end, and then I thought like we fucking saved Paz. We got the second bomb out, and I'm imagining it wrong because I got hit in the head. But then you see like what really happens. And
I was gonna say too, a revelation that I had during that moment as well, in that pause scene. Yeah. Sorry, Pikachu. Are you there?
He is.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll get to you. We'll get to you in 2 seconds.
Pikachu, you're being very patient. Thank you.
Another thing I liked about that pause scene is that he flashes back to the moment that it all happened.
Yeah.
And I think it's there. I could be wrong, but you see the explosion goes off, and that medic jumps in front of
He goes to save
Big Boss.
Yeah.
He jumps in front, and what's interesting about that I noticed, nothing else has blown up at that point. None of the helicopters have exploded. Their helicopter hasn't gone down. But when he darts in front of Big Boss...
Yes. This is really key. You told me
you
this.
can notice, and maybe you don't see it till the end, I don't really know, but he catches... The shrapnel is in his head. The horn is in his head. That's not from the helicopter or any other vehicular thing. It's what the doctor said at the beginning. We found bones and teeth. That all hits him as soon as Paz blows up. They're her bones.
It's her body parts
Yeah.
ejected from the explosion into his fucking
the
head.
shrapnel he has taken in his head, these bits that you see, is her. It can only be her. That's the only thing that had exploded at that point.
It was before
And
the choppers.
What I
cracked in.
love about it metaphorically is, in the game, as you do bad shit, you can kind of earn it's almost like devil mode.
It's called demon points.
Demon points.
And
yeah.
it's like a hidden. They don't really show it on the surface of the game anywhere, but it is keeping score of your kills and how brutal you get.
And the more brutal you are, the horn gets bigger, and you get more red. You get some blood on you, and you can't wash it off. And metaphorically, that works so well because pause means peace. Yeah. Pause is peace. As you do bad, as you do evil and sinister things, you are literally rejecting peace.
It's being pushed.
It's being pushed from your body.
That's insane.
And I thought that worked so well as a kind of metaphorical thing in war and in the game. I don't know.
You
I thought
brought
that was really neat.
because I beat the game and I had told you like, hey, I found out there's this demon mode that keeps making your horn grow and this and that, and you were like, well, yeah, you explained that whole thing to me, and that blew my mind. Yeah, because it really is your body rejecting peace, and Venom isn't. Sure. He's not, and I think that adds a little to the character too. Venom Snake isn't Big Boss. Yeah. I don't know that Big Boss
it's your decisions that do that. Yeah.
Big Boss might not be that evil of a guy. Maybe he goes in and does everything trank rounds, no kills. Yeah. And you could do that and your horn will stay small. Yeah. But now we've beaten the game and we have all the big guns and the fun fucking rocket launchers and shit. So man, I am trying to grow that thing like Pinocchio.
Well, I think that's the important thing to remember too.
Hey, if I can interject for a little bit.
Yeah,
Pikachu. The easiest way to go full demon is build a nuke.
Yeah.
I heard that.
Once you get to the point where you can build that nuke, apparently it just rockets the fucking horn right out, right?
I hear also...
you automatically go red.
I hear also you can just sit in a dumpster for a week. Oh, no, that's the smell bat.
Stinky.
That's the smell bat.
Stinky.
No, but I was just going to say, I think that's the most important thing to remember. And one of the criticisms I see the most in this game is that the main character doesn't have a lot of attitude or doesn't talk that much or this or that. But man, this game was about you. Yeah. You could interchange any soldier for that role. It was never about a snarky main character. I'm not saying you should like it because of that. I mean, some people would rather have a snarky main character. I get it, but it was made to be a moldable ball of clay that you decide all these things. You do all these things. So I thought for that it worked. And as soon as you meet Big Boss in the game again, at the end, he's snarky and he's doing all these things. Even in the beginning when he lights what's her name on fire, he goes, I gave her a light, she took the short way down. That's all. Whatever.
It's all the Solid Snake. Commentary.
It's really meant to be. It's really meant to be like, don't focus on one guy here. Yeah, it's you, and you've got to mold things the way that you see them. So I thought it worked for that. But everyone's got a different take on what Metal Gear should be. Anyway,
some people don't even like the Kiefer voice.
I thought it was fine.
They want Hader back.
I thought it was totally fine.
Hey.
I like David Hayter, but...
What's going on?
Pikachu.
What's up?
Are you a Haterman or a bit of a Kiefer fan?
I like both. I mean, Hater is Hater. He's Snake. He's also, that middle-aged / young Snake that we all grew and love, even in 3 and Peace Walker. I kind of think Sutherland fits the role because this is a much more older boss, much more older, Venom Snake. So it kind of makes sense that obviously would have a different voice actor because, like Ocelot, there's been different voice actors for him. There's been 3 technically now.
Is that real? There's been 3?
I didn't realize that. I guess so. I guess so.
Yeah, Snake Eater, then obviously Phantom Pain, and then his main in the what do I want to say, modern arc, I guess you would call it.
Yeah, Troy Baker really killed it, I thought, in this.
I was going to say, Yeah, I thought Kiefer Sutherland was great for this because of it being a different guy.
Yeah.
Two, but when he says Big Boss, I don't know. Big Boss is at another stage in his life. He's not
At the
Solid
end of
Snake.
4, I mean, you're an old man with
Yeah, it's a
gray
different
hair.
voice
It's a
actor.
different voice
Yes,
actor.
I just didn't care.
It seems like
Now, if Solid Snake had shown up in this game and,
And
it
it
wasn't
wasn't
David
Hayter,
Hayter,
yeah.
I'd have a complaint.
Now
But I thought for this, totally fine.
I was keeping 2 robotic fingers crossed for that to happen because we did get Eli,
Yeah.
but Eli was so young. David or
Yes.
the Solid Snake would have been that young as well.
Yes.
But apparently he's out getting trained during.
He's in the U.S.
Yeah, he
He's
never
in the
left the
US.
States.
Never
And
left.
but I will say, I know it.
I thought they were gonna bring. That's what because there was a lot of like Twitter hater fighting going
Yeah.
on and stuff.
Yeah.
When that got announced,
I think it was unfortunate that was not a trick.
Little spoiler in there. Or
When
a
that
little
when that
secret
was
in there.
all happening, I remember talking to Derek and we were like, "This is definitely he's putting them on."
Yeah.
And now that that's not true, man.
Now it makes it honestly makes me think a little less of David Hayter as he was tweeting kind of like bitchy, like I mean
Passive aggressive.
Yeah.
I like him a lot.
I do
but
too.
I wouldn't have tweeted that.
He's
Yeah.
actually.
I wouldn't have tweeted that unless the payoff was in 2 more years, hey fuckers, I'm in the game.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Which, hey, who knows? That might have been something that was gonna happen and just didn't in the wake of what happened with Konami in the last 6 months. Who
Yeah.
knows?
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't mind him being somebody else in this game, but yeah, if I had my fanboy dream, I do think the best way they could have ended it, if I could have changed anything, if I was directing it.
Can I guess what it would be?
What?
The whole recreation of the first game.
No, I wouldn't have done even that. I wouldn't have gone that far. If it had all wrapped up the way that it was, I'm fine with how it wrapped up.
Yeah.
Wrapped up the way that it was, and you get the timeline and all that stuff. You know how it was kind of like a scrolling timeline.
Yeah.
Have it end on that one, like you just said. Like where the original Metal
Operation N131,
Gear.
right?
And don't
Intrude,
stop,
yeah.
have the timeline stop on that, and just have one scene in the jungle or wherever, and pan down, and it's Solid Snake saying something like, "All right, da 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 da," whatever his first lines
Yeah.
are. I'm going in, and all you do is push the controller forward. You have him walk off into the distance. That's it. I'm not saying have a whole level, have anything.
Just walk him
but
off
as
and
the
his camera stays.
but as the player,
That'd be sick.
but as the player, the first thing you did was the last thing you did. You
That
just
would
hit
be-
forward, and he walks off, and he walks off, and he walks off. Fade to black, and then more end credits.
And then
or
you
whatever.
get Hayter's
just
voice
to
in
have
there.
and yeah, just give David Hayter one line.
Yeah.
where he just goes, "All right, I'm going in." Or, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't remember what his.
He could say something
the line.
like
Hey, how are you doing?
Yeah, he
something
could have
like
said
that. He could have said
What's up? That's right.
Mei
Ling, hey.
Yeah.
either,
Bitch!
Either
He could have. He could have gone. Fucking piece of fucking shit.
Oh, that's sorry. That's Dracula.
But all you had to do, it's almost like. Did you ever beat Shadow of the Colossus?
Not beat it, no.
Okay, well, I'm not going to say anything.
Don't-
yet. There's something in that ending that was very emotionally well done, and I think we could have had something like that for the end of Phantom Pain. That's what I would have liked.
Yeah.
But I'm not like I wasn't like scarred by what was
There's
there.
always like, I mean, yeah, I could talk about. That sounds fucking rad, but that's probably just something that never crossed their mind, and they're like, "Look, we're wrapping this game up. Let's fucking
but also
put the credits
too,
on
as
it."
a creator of you also maybe don't want to hang on to every one of your old things, so whatever.
Yeah.
But there was already a little bit of a callback in there, so maybe that's
Yeah, you did see after that last cutscene where kind of Kojima's talking to you, the player. He takes that cassette tape and like hooks it up to the fucking MSX system that's in his little room there.
Yeah.
And it starts running the data. You can hear it where it's kind of like decrypting what the plans for Operation Intrude are.
I love what the game does in terms of standing on its own and being its own thing, and I think what it did was great. But at the same time, as a game series that has the deepest fucking lore of any game series, it would have been nice to get one or two more heavy hitter Easter eggs or some kind of
Something to please the fans.
yeah. One wouldn't have killed it. I don't think they should. I don't think they should have done 100 of them, but one good one.
We were used to it too with Metal Gear 4 being the last kind of real console release of Metal Gear. That one had. After the game ended, you have another 2 hours of fucking secret shit to watch, and like that would have been
it would. Yeah, I think one more of those. At the same time, they did kind of say farewell to the whole continuity with 4, so that's why I don't hold any of the shit against it in 5. You know that it didn't call back to many things. I just feel like 4 ended it so conclusively. Who gives a shit? I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't hold it against it, but it would have been cool.
And if you want more, Metal Gear Rising continues the weirdness on in the future.
That's
and
true.
Still kind of fits in the storyline, and I don't know how canon it would be because Kojima's not involved.
Yeah.
It is canon.
It is?
Yeah.
Well, I love it then.
I really like Metal Gear Rising. I did not care about the story.
You want to swing the sword around a little?
Oh, God. These are heavy. I forgot about that. Do you remember when we had to deliver these to... We brought these to Konami because Garrett made them, a few of them.
How many did we make total? 5?
5, I think. 5, and then he told me... we gave it to Konami's PR guy.
Jay
You know, people are always railing on Konami and stuff, but, man, any interaction we had them with was really positive.
Yeah.
Honestly, like,
all 12 of the Kens that work there.
Yeah, we met a lot of people named Ken.
All great guys.
But we knew, like, Jay was over there and stuff like that, and were always really, really nice. And we brought these to them, and they gave us a bunch of Metal Gear stuff. Yeah. And then you left, or you were gone at one point, and he was like, "Don't tell Garrett, but one of these is going back to them."
And that was the coolest.
Yeah, I was like, "Wait, what do you mean one's going back? Should he not have made this many?" And he's like, "No, we're going to have it signed by everybody and send it back."
Yeah.
It's like, okay. And that's why we have it.
Why don't you stop playing dumb?
Yeah,
but anyway,
Pikachu.
Metal Gear Rising. In terms of the story of it, I didn't really gain anything from that. And I will say,
just, it was just there, continue writing the
I
story,
know.
but
I
it
love,
wasn't,
I love the story that added to Sunny becoming an engineer and an adult, and her kind of meeting up with Raiden again to help out.
Sure.
I don't know. That, to me, I was really stoked.
Sure, but I think for me, I was kind of, I liked how 4 wrapped up.
Yeah.
And I liked how he's in the... How it ends for Raiden is they patch him back up, and he's like, what do I do now? And his family's there, and they're like, I mean, this is your next great adventure. Like this is something you've never done, is you have a family now, and you know. So I don't know, when we got dumped into Metal Gear Rising, he's just, I'm fighting again. I just thought, he didn't get peace.
There was a little of that, though, where I think him and his family are kind of sitting around, and he's like, I need to, he's getting the itch.
Yeah,
I need to do something.
So maybe it's that. I don't know. But in terms of gameplay, fuck, that's one of the best action games.
It's a Platinum game.
Platinum can do no wrong in the action department. So true. I mean, it was amazing.
Good game. Yeah.
Now, anyway. Pikachu, we've been sitting here this whole time. We have a beautiful apple pie. I think we should start digging in.
Yeah.
Would you like a slice? I'll get you a slice. Pikachu, did you have anything specific that you wanted to cover on the Spoilercast?
Just a couple things. I mean, the first one, since I'm the first caller, what would be your, out of a 10-point rating scale, what would be your grade on the Phantom Pain?
Out of a 10?
Yeah. Or 5 if you want to.
Thank you. Yeah. No, 10's good. I'll do 10.
9 out of 10, perfect score.
9 out of 10, perfect.
No.
I'm gonna give it a 10 out of 10. Here's 10 flaws with it. No, there were so many websites doing that. Yeah. Giving it a 10 out of 10 and then going, the story, unfortunately, I didn't like it, and this suck, and there were some missing things in the last act. 10 out of 10. That's not a 10!
What if you broke it down? Yeah, those sites should break it down on, 1 out of 10 graphics, 1 out of 10 story, 1 out of 10 whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, for me, I'm going a 9 out of 10. I played it. I put more hours into it than any game in years. So, and I had fun during all of it. Do I wish there was more story? Yeah, totally. Sure, if there was more, that'd be great. But I thought what was there served the purpose. It was fine.
Yeah,
and
I do believe that.
And like I said, I do think there are things in the last act that are kind of bizarre. I still maintain, even though, I liked how it wrapped up, I still think it's weird that the very last mission is just a replay of the first one, and there really wasn't much different. I mean, I enjoy playing that mission, so don't get me wrong, but that didn't seem like a very Kojima thing to do.
That's true.
You know, that's what I mean. There's evidence of tampering.
The fact that you got to go, well, I don't know if it was necessarily not a very Kojima thing, because there was a lot of differences though on that second playthrough.
Sure.
I kind of believe it was more like it was kind of the ruse. It was kind of like to fool you into thinking you were still the big boss instead of this whole time you were just the medic, and in turn it was you playing the role of big boss.
I think on that.
I really did enjoy the truth mission, especially the added cutscenes and all that.
Yes.
And all that stuff.
I mean,
that's what I meant
were
by
rad,
more.
yeah.
Was you're going through it and they're adding cutscenes that you're like, wait a minute. Was that there before? I fucking played this, but I played this 150 hours ago.
What feels like a Kojima thing to me, once it was all over, I just felt like, I bet at one point he wanted you to play as Ishmael.
Oh.
And, get to that point.
And
then,
I was kind of seriously hoping that was the mission.
Yeah, exactly.
That would have been pretty cool.
I liked playing it again. I didn't mind, but
it worked out great for me because I had only done it once. I played that prologue, when I started the game. And I was getting to a point where it's like, I think I was actually telling you guys, that was so awesome. It was like a Resident Evil game. I'm dying to play that again.
Yeah.
And then it came to be 2 days later, I got to that point, and it's like, oh, here, you get to play it again. Super fun. Well, thank you very much for calling in, Pikachu.
Yeah, and then
Did you have one other thing? We're just enjoying this delicious pie here.
Great job.
And then also, I think one of the biggest character revelations, aside from Big Boss, Venom, whatever, I think we're probably gonna just go back, is Huey and how much of an asshole he becomes in the course of these two games.
Yeah.
Well, again, I think it's he thinks he's doing the right thing because he sees Mother Base as a bunch of crazed, war-hungry, maniacs.
Well, see, I can agree with that, and I can also kind of agree how he could fool in to what's the word? What was it? The when XOF infiltrated MSF, back in Ground Zeroes. I honestly thought that he was thinking that this would be a good idea, but then
I think so too.
I don't know. My thought with that is still Huey knew and made a deal with Skullface to have the nuclear arms inspectors come and show up on Mother Base because the Ground Zero tapes reveal how fucking pissed off Kaz and Snake are. They're like, you dummy, what the fuck are you bringing them here for?
Yeah.
I don't know. To me, I feel like he had ulterior motives all along, and the character is such a weak, pussy, in all honesty, that...
Well, yeah, that really shows, especially...
I mean, they write him as this parasitic, weak character that needs a daddy to tell him what to do. And he had that at Mother Base with Boss, and then he decided, for whatever reason, to switch alliances. In my mind, he let the Skullface inspection happen and took off on the chopper. Excuse me.
Why don't you stop playing dumb?
The chopper to start a new life, start a new development with Sahelanthropus. Yeah. I'll get it out. I'll get it out eventually.
She lied.
And then I think, really, especially because I obviously think Strangelove kind of still wanted to stick with him, especially since Strangelove had Hal.
Yeah.
That
was a whole fucked up thing.
Yeah, that whole thing, especially listening to the tape, if you know what I'm talking about.
The tape of her dying inside.
The 10-minute tape, yeah.
Yeah.
It was really
Did
probably
you listen
the most...
to that? As she's suffocating inside. And that was a great throwback to a lot of people didn't play Peace Walker, unfortunately, but to have that big AI pod and the way that big, cylinder looked, it was right out of the game. And it's like,
that was cool.
That is shit directly taken out of the Nicaragua lake and brought back to use on this new game.
Yeah, that was neat.
I love the tie-in and that character, and Huey's still working on the AI with her.
Yeah.
That was really cool. But yeah, they both left Mother Base, and Huey had Strangelove removed a couple weeks before the inspection.
No, Strangelove left on her own accords, I think. If I'm right, I forgot.
But then they were working together under Skullface at the Sahelanthropus lab, right? Because that's where he locked her in the AI pod. I don't know.
Yeah, but then once once Huey was trying to use Hal in order to test the philanthropist. I think that's when she started to draw the line.
The cockpit only seats a kid.
Uh,
Weird how that worked out perfectly for Eli to fit in it.
yeah. Oh, fucking. And then I forgot about Mission 51. The
What was
cut
that one?
mission.
The cut one.
Oh, yeah.
The one that was on the Blu-ray.
Which,
Personally,
I mean, another...
Oh yeah, so let's conclusively talk about that.
Yeah, can we take the rest of, you want to take the rest of the answer about this off the air?
Yeah, if you want to.
All right. Well, we just got a lot of callers, so we'll ramble.
Yeah, let them call in.
We'll ramble and we'll
Thanks
get back
for
to you.
taking my call.
Thank you, Pikachu. We appreciate it.
You got some kind of plan?
I feel like if they wouldn't have shown that mission, I'm very glad they did. The special edition came with a Blu-ray behind the scenes, and it explained that whole mission. They didn't have to do that.
No, if they hadn't shown that,
and if
they
here's
the thing. Here's the
way
thing.
less complaining if they
there
didn't
would be
show
people
you.
complaining, going, "Man, they didn't even conclude that."
Yeah.
Just like with Battle Gear,
Uh-huh.
you don't really use it, and people are like, "Ah." But the fact they showed the chapter, 10 times the complaining.
Yep.
And I know some people won't agree with that, but it's true.
No,
when you dangle the steak like that,
you know
that's
what
what's
you're
gonna
missing
happen.
out on. Yeah.
And it just became, oh, I can't believe they did that. You have a visual thing to latch onto.
Yep.
That being
there was
said,
cool stuff in that.
yeah, there was awesome stuff in that. That being said, am I bummed they cut that? Yes, absolutely.
Definitely. That's why it doesn't get, maybe because of some other flaws and maybe some of the story that wasn't wrapped up. That's why I don't give it a 10 out of 10.
Sure.
I'll go, like you said, a 9 out of 10 as well.
Sure. Well, I was going to say, too, some people, I think, misconstrue that. I don't think that was ever going to be the true ending of the game. There's people who go, they cut the ending!
No.
That doesn't in any way, thematically or otherwise, wrap that game up. Now, I could see it being an extra thing. Oh, you beat the game. Ooh, extra. Because Kojima always throws in extra shit.
Fighting the ultimates in Final Fantasy.
Yeah, but also, too, in Peace Walker, you beat the game, but you could look for Hot Coldman or whatever his name was.
And then you can get
Zadornov.
You can get like another ending, though, if you defeat Zeke with
exactly,
Cosmo.
exactly. So, but in terms of the actual, like, real story of the ending of the game, that ain't it, I don't think.
No.
But anyway, what I was going to say, that being said, so it's out, they cut it, whatever. There was awesome stuff in it. I didn't think it was make or break for the game. Mm-hmm. Oh, they cut it, so I can't. Oh, the rest of the game isn't as good. No, I don't think so. It would have been nice to have that in there. It would have been nice to have another fight like that. Dude, it would have been a lot of stuff. Would have been nice.
The decision on who to shoot.
So this is what I was going to say.
Huge.
It's cool that it had more stuff with Eli, more stuff with potentially Mantis. And I love that. As a fan, I want more of that. So, of course. But I do think the biggest loss in all of it was that moment. Mm-hmm. Having to decide between who do I shoot, because in a moment of injury, they set up early on in the game that he has a colorblind kind of situation.
You pointed that out to me.
Yeah, he can't differentiate between red and white or whatever it was.
It's during the prologue, correct?
Yeah.
Where they say, Ishmael tells you, like, you're not all back together 100% yet. You might be having trouble differentiating color. And stuff.
Well, there's moments in the game too where you get seriously injured and colors swap.
When that red kind of starts to close in around you.
Yeah.
On the screen.
Yeah.
You're basically grayscale.
Yeah.
You can't really see that.
And having that moment in the deleted chapter where there's red and white jumpsuited people and I don't know who to shoot was really a payoff to that character. That problem, you know. I don't know I was more upset that was lost than any of the Eli stuff.
Really,
honestly.
That was the coolest thing. And when you explained that to me too, that was the coolest thing in that mission that we didn't get.
Yeah.
It's specifically, I think, because of the continuity coming full circle to where you were explaining that early on, and then here's a way later mission where it actually comes into play, and oh fuck, you shot the wrong person.
Yeah.
That would have been awesome.
That would have been cool. But in terms of like adding to the actual story with Eli and all that, that was really cool. But I was fine with it being ambiguous. They go off. I would have definitely thought that was kind of weird. But I was also fine with them.
What do you do?
Them leaving with a bunch of shit. I don't know. And then later,
do you get it back? I mean, would you have gotten Sahelanthropus back to Mother Base?
I don't know. I was fine with them just kind of going off, and we don't really know what happens. I mean, the fact of the matter is, Sahelanthropus won't work with just like a pilot. Mantis has to like help with it and stuff. It's a faulty thing, and in my mind, that shit didn't work. It was complicated to get it going at all. So then later they built Metal Gear Ray or whatever, or not Metal Gear Ray. Sorry, Metal Gear
Rex.
Sorry. And that's way more manageable for them to do with their technology.
What was the terrorist cell called in the first game? Was it not Dead Cell? That's the second game.
Yeah, but isn't it just Foxhound? Like they go rogue or whatever?
Yeah, I guess it is just the rogue Foxhound.
Right?
And it's Eli, or it's...
I haven't played the first one in a
It's
long time.
Liquid and Mantis.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can see where they leave Mother Base with this fucking Metal Gear that they don't know how to use.
Yeah.
But then they go on to, who knows what else. Use their training and whatnot. We got other Skypers.
Yeah, do you want to take another call?
I think so.
It's strange.
Let's talk to Random Ortiz Jr.
Oh, Random Ortiz has been very active on Twitter. He was very excited for the Spoilercast.
Hey guys, what's up?
How are you, Mr. Junior?
I'm good, man. How's everything?
What's going on?
Good.
We're good.
So 2 questions actually. I want to get your opinions on.
Hell yeah. Well, that's what we're here for.
Great, absolutely. First one is, what was your favorite mission or side ops or whatever in Phantom Pain?
Favorite mission or side ops?
My favorite mission was actually the one where you rescue all the children. I love that.
Really?
That played with my expectations so well. And I don't think it gets enough credit. We keep talking about the game in the span of the whole Metal Gear series, and this calls back to this, and this connects to this. But what that game doesn't get enough credit for are the moments of its own game, disconnected to the actual Metal Gear legacy, is that moment where you are sent to kill some soldiers. That's the mission. You have to follow through. You show up. He goes into the mines. He pulls up a gun. And because of video game logic, when I see him put down the gun and like start to look shocked, I'm thinking to myself, oh God, what giant boss is on the other side of the camera?
Yeah.
What am I going to have to face? And the camera whips around, and it's the polar opposite. It's children. And it's just, oh, fuck. What am I going to have to do here?
Yeah.
That was a very mature moment. Confronting child labor, child soldiers, whatever. That was like one of the taboos that I think kind of Kojima talked about was...
Yeah, he did mention
that's a delicate subject.
Social media, there were slavery and child labor and child soldiers.
And so that was kind of... that was like, whoa, what are we going to do? Is he going to kill him? What's he going to do? And he fires the rounds, and it's like, oh, shit.
You think, he just shot those fucking kids.
And he didn't. And he's like, let's get the hell out of here. And you taking the kids out of that... Now, I know some people struggled with...
escort missions.
With that, as an escort mission. I don't know what it was. I kicked ass on that mission.
I had a hard time with that one.
It was nerve-wracking, to be honest, but I was able to get through it.
Yeah, it was nerve-wracking for me, but I don't know. It was like my fucking father instincts came out. I was like, fuck you! I got these kids! Hey, motherfucker, look over here! Boom! Hey, you too! Boom! Alright, helicopter coming up. Oh, fuck, this helicopter's gonna be so hard. No, fuck you, I've got a rocket launcher. Hey, asshole, look at this. Boom, boom. Let's go, kids, come on. Yeah. We're gonna be eating fucking cereal in 10 minutes. Let's go. And, oh, man, it was great. And I got them all in the chopper. I just felt like...
Dee Dee helped me out, too, in that mission.
Oh, yeah. I had a quiet plucking people off for me. That was great. I was just so stoked.
Changing your buddies, I mean, obviously changing your loadout around, but changing your buddies around makes the game a totally different experience going in on a similar mission.
Yeah.
That one really did stand out to me, but I think my favorite, even though this is a really early on one, and I think they even showed this in demos, but when you go in right out of the hospital to save Kaz, when Ocelot walks you to the edge of that sandstorm, and he's like, all right, Afghanistan's a big place, go get Kaz.
Yeah.
And you make your way into the really, really big camp that he's in, a fucking second-story building in. Like one of those, shitty huts. Mm-hmm. But it was up on the second floor. Yeah. You gotta get through so many fucking guys. And that was, the first time I've been dropped into the world.
Yeah.
I have really limited gear, and now I am sneaking through and infiltrating a base, rescuing my friend, and having played the previous games. Kaz was a really, really big part of Peace Walker.
Yeah.
So, getting to him...
Yeah, that was really cool,
and
now that I think back to it.
His eyes are cataract, and he's missing an arm and a leg, and you're just like, they fucking butchered my friend.
Yeah.
Sling them over your back, and now you've got to escape, and like they're on your fucking tail.
Yeah.
The music swells. That to me was like any Rambo movie or any.
Yeah, but a critical part of it too is you remember what he says when he's over his shoulder. Say it one more time for me, Snake. Like old times, like you used to. And you can actually press a button, and he goes, "Kept you waiting, huh?"
Oh, he does.
Yeah,
I
he
know
says,
that.
yeah.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah, try that.
There's so many little secret things, like things I've learned way after beating the game, like in scope mode, switching weapons.
Yeah.
In like little things that you don't really know are there, but they are, and you can discover them over time. Like
Yeah. That was I agree. That was kind of a neat moment. That was the part that I got to play at the Konami headquarters or whatever.
Yeah, you got to
and
go.
that was really cool. It was
in Los Angeles before they closed. That you're probably one of the last crews of people in
last
there.
people in there.
They
yeah.
closed that a couple weeks after you guys played the game there.
Yeah, so that was cool. I only really played that. I didn't really get into the story very much.
Oh, and I want to take this opportunity to shout out to. We knew a lot of people that worked on the game.
Yeah.
From the stateside, Konami US. Robert Allen Peeler is there. I know he's still working on the MGO side of the social media and everything.
Yep.
And then there's a Mega64 fan, a guy named Javier Perez.
Yeah.
He worked on environments throughout MGO.
Oh, is that?
And
Yeah,
worked
that's what
at
he
that
did, right?
studio.
Yeah.
So I mean, I always start with a lot of praise for Hideo, and it's well earned. He's probably one of my favorite developers out there.
Yeah.
But also everyone else that we don't personally know, but everyone we do and everyone that worked on the game, like really hands down, far and away, like great job. I don't know what kind of hell it was working there. It sounded like towards the end it might have gotten a little rough, but thank you guys for sticking with it, and thank you for putting out such a good game.
It's strange.
It is.
Yeah, thank you, Random Ortiz Jr.
I got one more thing, actually.
Yeah,
hit us with it.
Rocco, you talked earlier before about like what ending you wanted about with Solid Snake in that first mission of the first Metal Gear game.
It could have been cool, whatever.
I agree with that as well. I was wondering if if Kojima was still with Konami, would you guys would have loved a remake of the first two Metal Gear games on the MSX?
Oh yeah, I mean, well, here's the thing. It's tough because I love Kojima. I kind of do want him to do other things. I do want, what's the next big thing from Kojima?
I loved when he jumped into the Castlevania stuff.
Yeah. So I do kind of want to see something else from him. But at the same time, oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, that needs it more than anything. A remake of the original Metal Gear 1 and 2, because those, as the series more and more went on, it became clear those are very much part of the story. The heart of the story is there. And even when this game wrapped up, it's like, oh, Big Boss's Phantom went to the original Outer Heaven, and he was here, and da-da-da-da-da-da. And, it needs it. Man, I wish there was a remake.
That would be cool.
Maybe that's something Konami can do on their own. I hate to say it,
like,
but maybe it is.
And
maybe you don't need Hideo for that. I don't know.
I was going to bring that up. Konami has said that they are going to probably continue making Metal Gear games without Hideo Kojima, which is interesting if you go for, like new adventures with his characters. That's a little weird for me.
Me too.
I'll decide when it's out if it was good or not. I'm not going to make any assumptions ahead of time.
Yeah.
But something like that, like taking the games that have already been there and remaking them, maybe that's the way to go if Konami wants to start using Metal Gear again.
Yeah.
Redo 1 and 2. I mean, could you imagine playing through 1 and you're Solid Snake and you get to the big boss fight and the fucking dude has a horn growing out of his head now because they've adapted it to the current generation. Again.
What I love, another great detail is if you look at the Outer Heaven logo. You see it a bunch in this game, whatever.
Some
Man,
holes.
The skull has a hole right there. That's
two,
so
the
awesome.
two, little one, the big one.
That's great. I was gonna say no, that was it. That was good.
Well, thank you, Random.
No, thank you guys for taking my call, and thank you for doing the stream tonight.
I hope you had a good time. I hope that this is turning out to be what you guys wanted.
Thanks.
Absolutely, man. See you guys.
All right, bye-bye.
Why don't you stop playing dumb?
Yeah, get him out of here.
You must think I'm garbage.
We could keep taking calls.
Yeah, let's take some calls.
We're at about an hour and a half.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, well, I say we round it out to 2.
Sure, that
be
sounds
nice and tight.
Okay.
There's got to be stuff we've left out. I mean,
Yeah, I'm sure.
other characters. We hardly talked about Code Talker, and there's a very weird cutscene where you get off a helicopter and Code Talker is sitting mumbling to himself. And there's the parasite glow kind of around him, and he's in a fucking trance. And he gives you like a warning about Kaz. He's like, keep an eye on Kazuhira.
Oh, yeah.
And then they're like, what the fuck does that mean? What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
And he's like, the parasites are talking to me. Goodbye. And he like kind of wheels off. And you're like, what? There's also, when you leave the AAC, or when you leave Mother Base at certain times in the AAC, you can just grab whoever.
Oh.
There's times where you can see him, Code Talker that is, on a pier in Mother Base, like just chilling, just sitting in his wheelchair. But like you get off and run over to find him, and he's not there. But he'll be like out the window if you look like, in the helicopter.
I loved his character. Yeah. I loved Code Talker because Code Talker to me was like a old Shenmue character or some kind of
well,
old Dreamcast. Yeah, it was just. Oh yes, he was the hokiest. Hamburgers.
The perfect force. The perfect food.
The ordinaire. Copulate. Anyway, I enjoyed the hell out of that character.
Well, another Danae is here with us.
Yeah. Pretty Man Joe, or what was your name?
Tony.
Thank you,
Tony. Whatever.
Thank you.
I know it sounds strange to most people.
Tony Cards, what's
Tony
up?
Baloney.
It's too quiet.
Hey, want to ask you guys, is there any like small detail of like the story or the gameplay that you would like seen executed differently? Like not like a major, huge like story thing change, but like just small things.
I have a thing. And there was a lot of stuff that we saw. Kojima put out, I think, 4 really cinematic, really good trailers for this game. Set to music. He used a Garbage song, a New Order song, a Mike Oldfield song. He used all this. And that's another way the cassettes and the 80s music fit into this world.
Yeah.
The music, we haven't even touched on that. The music is such a integral part of... You know, people complain about the helicopter. I got to watch this helicopter ride every time I want to do a mission.
Yeah.
I just never minded. I switch the songs up every once in a while. I come in with a new one. I survey the land. I'm scouting people from the binoculars out the window usually. But the way back to the trailers, we got those 4 trailers. They showed a lot of stuff in those trailers that wasn't actually in the game.
Yeah.
Film. Yeah. Very common in film. This happens. There's stuff in a trailer, and then when you go watch the movie, it's like fucking. This is a weird example, but Kung Fu Panda never says, what the fuck, Bazinga? What does a Kung Fu Panda say?
Skadoosh.
Yeah, he never says skadoosh in the movie.
That's in the trailer.
That's in the trailer. This kind of thing happens. There's a very Metal Gear-like thing happening there, too, where all these trailers that he put out had, like, or child soldiers being trained by, like, commandos in front of some tanks and stuff. That really wasn't in there. The child soldiers were there, but... Snake kind of going to his knees at the sight of a bunch of burned bodies.
Yeah, that wasn't in there.
A lot of stuff wasn't in there, but it gave you a good idea without really spoiling anything. And I kind of like when a trailer does that. Mm-hmm. Hey, this isn't in the movie, but the stuff in the movie would have been spoiled if you watched it in the trailer. So we made the stuff that's kind of like it, and you get the theme of the game you're going to play by watching this trailer. I don't know if that makes sense. That being said... In all the promo material, you see how you find the dog. You find the dog. D-Dog's mother has been killed. It's whimpering at her body in the jungle. When the game came out, you just get off the helicopter and D-Dog's just in the fucking desert.
That was weird.
Hey, wolves don't live like just in the fucking side of the road in Afghanistan with no bushes around. I don't know.
That's kind of odd. I agree with that.
I really would have liked... them to keep it that way, where it's an emotional kind of thing when you're going through that jungle environment where it was believable the dog lived. You found the dead mother, it's whimpering, it follows you back. Maybe at the end of a mission that would happen, and it would follow you back to the AAC, that's how you get on board. I just kind of like showed up to do a mission, the dog was there, and then it got Fultoned right out, and then was back at base. It's like, that was different than... it could have been what I was expecting. So I guess that's my best answer. A little thing that could have been tweaked.
I was going to say, too, it's not within the story, but the trailers, showed almost every cutscene. And I kind of do wish maybe they were portrayed in a way that they didn't show that.
The last trailer especially showed Sahelanthropus.
Showed too much,
It showed the Metal Gear, the main... like boss mech that you fight in the game.
Yeah.
It showed it, and then it showed it do its transformation.
But this is not even... this is nothing against Kojima or anybody on his team.
We've seen this a lot lately.
For some reason in Japan, it's like they're not as hardcore about spoilers or whatever as we are, because man, anything. I mean, I remember the new Dragon Ball Z movie came out, and then the day before release, here's artwork of Goku with blue hair. Wait, what the fuck?
You buy the new one,
Yeah.
and the fucking art before you've opened it to watch the movie.
Yeah.
Goku's got blue hair on one side, and then Vegeta's got blue hair on the other.
These,
It's like
these are like ending twists.
Oh, I guess that they okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe that's a cultural thing with the spoilers.
Yeah.
It's just you pointed this out too. Every mission that starts,
yeah, has the what?
it
the
tells
credits?
you featuring the skulls,
Yeah.
featuring Sahelanthropus. It's like,
Yep.
oh, so at the end of this mission, I'm going to fight something called the skull. I don't
Yeah.
know. That would have been a surprise if I got to the end of the mission and then boom, the skulls all popped out
Yeah.
of the truck.
Yeah.
Full of the yellow cake, which I just love yellow cake. We have pie here. We don't have any yellow cake with us.
Yeah.
Japanese.
But anyway, but that is interesting that that happens.
It's weird because now I'm going into the mission the whole time like, okay, when the fuck are the skulls going to show up? It just kind of didn't work out that well. And yeah, in the trailers, them showing Sahelanthropus specifically.
Yeah, everything.
You shouldn't have showed me the mech.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a little weird. I didn't really understand that.
I mean, even the toys, they kind of delayed like some of the other character toys until like they would call PlayArts did the you just got the we've got Skullface here, but Robotnik, Dr. Robotnik, what was it?
I hope everyone's enjoying the live broadcast.
Trechky, Robogolf, or whatever.
Yeah.
Third Child.
That like isn't even out yet, and I think they wanted
out now.
It's out now,
Yeah.
right? But they wouldn't spoil stuff like that with the toys coming out first.
Yeah.
Why show them in the trailer so heavily?
You know what, though? You say that about the toys.
They did show pictures
But
of them?
man, no. A year before the game ever came out, I remember being at San Diego Comic-Con, and they put out a prototype of the Man on Fire, and he's there, and he's got the bullets, and he has all of
Volgan's clothes,
gear.
yeah.
And it was a year before anybody saw anything, and I was just going, so Volgan's in this game.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and that, you know, yeah.
Which that's something that we predicted actually turned out to be correct.
Yeah, that was correct.
The Man on Fire.
Did you feel how did you feel about like him being in it or whatever?
I liked it, especially the kind of the last cutscene you get with him, where he turns back into Volgan.
Yeah.
It's kind of a delusional thing you're going through.
Yeah.
Because he's walked under the Sahelanthropus treads and got killed. But you've got his body or whatever, and it looks like him in the red fucking gear. And it was cool seeing him updated in the Fox engine.
Yeah. I was going to say, I thought all that was neat. My brother, when he beat the game, he was like, I don't know, that kind of ended disappointing. It didn't really conclude anything cool. And I was like, yeah, but I don't know. He died. He was just kind of. I just thought, well, there's weird shit going on now. So
Yeah.
I didn't ever think like, oh, we're gonna get something with Volgan now. And
I think
it wasn't.
Mantis left him.
I don't know.
after
It
he's
left
picked
him,
up
and
Elon.
I think he kind of realizes or maybe knows it's not Big Boss in their last moment, and then he dies. I don't know. I don't think he was meant to be anything more. I don't know. There was just trippy shit going on through the game, and I didn't think there was anything in the game that led me on to think he was going to be anything more than that. It was an illusion, and then you concluded that illusion. I don't know. I never felt like, oh, the Vulcan thing didn't wrap up well. I didn't think that. I don't know.
It was kind of two parts. It was a lot of like they could get away with the whole Man on Fire being just even existing.
Yeah.
With Psycho Mantis is using his telekinesis and energy shit to make this happen. Whatever.
Yeah.
But then also he kind of just had been killed, but the rage of this character was still burning. As soon as Snake kind of woke up, the Man on Fire did as well.
Yeah.
And then Mantis, as he was flying over the area, kind of latched onto him. But it is interesting, like, I guess the Soviets were keeping that body in a lab, doing all kinds of tests and shit on it, and that's where Mantis was ending up.
Yeah.
It made sense to me. It
Well,
wasn't
I
just
didn't think he was supposed
fun.
to be anything other than a monster, and that was fine. That was never part of the story or anything. But so I talked about that with my brother, and he was like, "Yeah, okay." But he also said, though, he's like, "But it still would have been cool to have a last big thing with him, like maybe even one last fight, a big boss fight finally, and
With
where you
Vulcan?
kill him." And
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, I agree. I do agree.
Yeah,
with
that's
that.
true.
Yeah.
I didn't really see that without it being shown to me.
Yeah.
That would be fun to fight an old previous boss.
Yeah.
And well, Yeah, that would have been really cool to utilize the old techniques that he had, his
Yeah.
lightning and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, yeah. I hope that answers your question there, Tony. Sorry.
Yeah,
It's
it
too
does.
quiet.
Thank you. And thank you for taking my call. I'll let you go and get some other guys on.
Right on.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, man.
Okay, let's talk to
Who else do we have? I'm gonna hit some more.
Clay.
What else? We've got a lot of samples here.
Colonel, Mei Ling, Naomi,
Which was your favorite girl?
Naomi,
Or-
Mei Ling,
Hey, how's it going?
Naomi.
Naomi,
All right. I'm a Campbell guy.
Colonel,
Vince.
Hey, how's it going?
How are you?
Not bad, yourself?
I'm all right.
how are you doing?
Cool. I just wanted to bring up a couple things.
Yeah.
You can replay missions, right? And then you get the same cutscene at the end of the mission.
Okay.
My only thing was you can't replay certain side missions, and certain side missions had some of the best cutscenes, like
that's
returning
true.
the AI pod.
Yes.
Yeah, you're right. That is true. I forgot.
And I'm
about
not. I haven't really come across that because I'm still beating side missions, and actually, I think I have 3 story missions that are like the extreme versions that I have to do. Which, God, Extreme Philanthropist is really fucking hard. I've
Yeah.
tried that one like
I'm not
over and
even
over and
gonna
over
do that.
again.
No.
I think I gotta put the chicken hat on or something.
You just gotta like fight a tank.
Ugh.
That way.
Yeah. Block yourself with the tank?
Yeah.
Really?
Or you can just get inside the tank as well. Just start blasting the white tubes.
Dude, that
on it.
thing fucks me up if I get in a tank. I sometimes get stuck in like a movement, not a cutscene, but like an animation.
Sure, yeah.
And I'll get fucked up, like jumping over shit the wrong way, and yeah. Yeah, interesting.
I didn't realize that.
But yeah, that is something that is good to point out. That's definitely a bummer. If you wanted to replay and get a story cutscene that was in a side op, it's not available unless you restart the game, I guess.
I guess not.
I
Never
wonder,
thought about that.
after you've 100%ed it, it doesn't just open up all the side ops to let you play them all?
No.
Really?
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Yeah, I think you should be able to. I think you should be able to go see that stuff.
Hopefully they're still supporting it. I mean, we did get some balancing patches with the Metal Gear Online lately.
Yeah.
But I hear that's like the last one, and they're sending off development and support to the Japanese team that was working on... God, there's a small team that was still working on something, some aspect of... the FOB stuff. Because the FOB stuff's all kind of online.
Oh, okay.
This multiplayer kind of thing.
Yeah.
So there's a small dev team still in Japan. Probably Roppongi still have a studio there?
Yeah, I think so.
And they're taking over MGO stuff, like at the end of the month or at the end of the year or something. But yeah, hopefully more kind of... We got that quiet update to where you could get her back into the game by finishing her mission, 8 more times?
7,
and then but then it's like the 7th one is the one that unlocks her again.
Yeah.
Maybe there should be something that they would put in the future that would at least let you go play those missions again without... New Game Plus those missions. All they would have to do is unlock them for you again.
Yeah. That is weird that there isn't just a way to do that.
Yeah, interesting way to point it out. I guess that's why we can't give it a 10 out of 10.
But yeah, like the Huey XL cutscene was really, really good.
Yeah.
And
he has to
I just
throw
want
his
to get
legs
to the
overboard.
point. Yeah, but I want to bring into what do you think of Kaz? Because I thought Kaz was the best character in the game.
Yeah, Kaz was great.
I think throughout the whole game, Kaz is really... He's showing his stubbornness. Well, not his stubbornness, but he doesn't trust quiet, and he's kind of fighting every decision you're making throughout the entire game. I mean, you're pretty sided with Ocelot throughout everything, and they're butting heads a lot. And then by the end of the game, they basically say, oh, when we see each other again, we'll be killing each other. So look out for that. And who knows if that really happened, because Miller was killed a couple weeks before the first Metal Gear Solid game starts.
Yeah.
And then Liquid is posing as Miller to Solid Snake over the codec. So who knows if he sent Ocelot to go actually do the deed. Maybe they did face off one more time.
Yeah, I don't know.
Do we know who actually killed Kaz?
Was it Liquid?
Poor Kazuhira. I mean, it was either Liquid or possibly one of the other Foxhound members. Yeah, he could have sent Ocelot to go finish the job. Yeah.
Someone in the chat asked a good... Thank you, Vince. Thank you for your call.
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks, Vince.
Someone in the chat brought up a good question.
Yeah.
Favorite MGS girl?
Oh.
Just period.
Why don't you stop playing dumb? Mei Ling.
Obviously.
Really?
No, not really.
Okay.
It's just the two girls I have here.
I think mine would be Eva. Eva is a great character who is how do I describe it? Like, she has the facade of sexy Bond girl.
Well, she's like that's
all I am.
Triple agent. Yeah.
She has so many. She uses all that bullshit as a distraction from how much she's really controlling what's going on, and it just makes her interesting.
Yeah.
And the fact that you see her again in 4, and she has a lot of like sorrow about that. She walks that line of, am I bad? Am I good? Am I, where do I really place myself? But she's sexy too. Like, you can't, those things aren't divorced from each other, Like, it wasn't just, there were a lot of people who, I remember even when it came out, were quick to point out, they threw in some hot girl, and it's like, there's so much more to her than that. But she can be that too, if she wants to use that. And,
to her advantage.
Yeah, and I thought there was just really great dynamic between her and Snake, and I don't know.
And
She's a great character.
In 4, she really lets herself, or she really shows the player how much she cared for her son. I mean, she considered the Les Enfants Terribles her sons.
Yeah.
I mean, she really was proud to have raised them and carried them, even though they were taken away from her.
Yeah.
Like, she knows, like, I did my part to, fight the good fight.
But she is kind of obsessed after, like, she kind of does have this overwhelming nostalgia for it, because, she has all the artwork on her wall. She has like Snake Eater artwork.
Yeah.
Like, she has artwork of Snake and things like that. But correct me if I'm wrong, and maybe I am. She has Big Boss's motorcycle. The motorcycle she uses at the end.
It's a Triumph.
But I believe it's the same one he rides off on at the end of 5.
It is a Triumph, and I noticed that.
Yeah.
Because they made a real big point to, like, license a lot of stuff throughout the Metal Gear.
Yeah.
Metal Gear 3 had the calorie mate was such a big thing in that,
Yeah.
And even in Peace Walker, the Japanese release got, like, Mountain Dew, Doritos.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But Triumph was very front and center in Metal Gear 4.
Yeah.
And I noticed that it was a Triumph motorcycle in the Phantom Pain. That makes a lot of sense.
Plate. It's the same license plate. So she was a collector to the end of his stuff. Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway.
That's really fucking cool.
Yeah.
Like, little nod that I never would have picked up. Wow. Cool. Well, we've got other callers.
Mei Ling.
Let's talk to...
I didn't get to pick... You find someone...
sorry.
I'll try to... No, I'm just trying to think. I really like Meryl Silverberg. Especially for her role in 4. She has become a commander of a Foxhound unit, her own unit. And I just really thought that character was like a super, I don't know, just like an awesome soldier. That you find her, she's a little green, but she's super headstrong in the first Metal Gear Solid. I don't know, I always kind of had maybe it's the red hair too. Yeah, special thing for
yeah, that's not bad. I was gonna say real quick too, while we get off before we get off the subject.
Oh yeah.
Did you
wait?
What?
I totally forgot because I almost don't think of this character. She's got femininity as well, but it's almost her masculinity that is shown so bright. But the boss, the Joy, I think is definitely hands down my favorite girl from the Metal Gear series.
Yeah, she's not kind of she's not in an upfront role. She's kind of hidden away from you in the game. So it's not always my first choice.
And in 3, like the whole story of 3 is revealing that she is this patriot through and through who has sacrificed herself and become a martyr. Yeah. And to me that was so like, it's like she took the bullet. Like, that's so fucking noble. I love that character.
Yeah.
And then to see the fascination grow into something different throughout Peace Walker and now Phantom Pain. It's really interesting. Anyway,
did you like Quiet?
I did. Yeah, I've never had a problem. Of all the girls, I would say the BB core were just... They didn't do much for me. I love that all the bosses...
I thought they were good as bosses.
I love that all the bosses are like really pretty girls that wear all this biomech armor to create, turn themselves into animal killing machines.
Yeah.
That was super cool, but the actual, you don't get to spend a lot of time. There's no backstory to them hardly.
Well, it's given to you.
It's given to you when you're while they're trying to seduce you in slow motion. But those just kind of fell by the wayside for me. But Quiet really stood out as
I liked Quiet.
A cool character.
Yeah, I thought Quiet had it wasn't like the most important arc in all of Metal Gear, but it was I liked her arc a lot.
And the way she was dressed was never a distraction for me. I would typically cover her in blood. I unlocked that blood costume, and that's all I used was just her drenched. Because I would be drenched in blood.
Yeah.
And the two of us, when you go out and do that loading screen when you're picking your loadout, or when you're about to load out, pick your buddy, pick your vehicle, pick all that stuff. Dude, then when you hit it, it's like, they get ready and in their pose. Dude, Snake and Quiet covered in blood with like a fucking chopper behind him just looked so awesome. I would dress him all in black with the naked camo so he doesn't have a shirt on. And he just, the two of them match. They're blood-soaked in like black fatigues.
Yeah, that's great.
And fishnet stockings. Who doesn't love fishnet stockings?
Who doesn't love that?
There were a few.
I appreciate your help.
There, a lot of people talk about with Quiet. I've seen it a few times in the chat why she couldn't write stuff down.
Oh yeah,
why is she talking? She can't write stuff down. I think they specifically address that either in the tapes or something that in the act of, and I guess this is a real thing. In the act of writing it, your vocal cords still think it. Like as you think it, sense memory still fluctuates. And when I heard that in the game, I was like, that's a very sci-fi. That's a very Kojima excuse.
I
why
missed
she
that
can't.
Yeah,
Wow.
But
if you look it up, apparently
that's a real thing.
A real thing where when you think about the language, like right now, whole sentence, there's slight reverberations in your
throat.
You can sense memory, kind of, does it.
The Wolbachia could fix that, but unfortunately, we haven't synthesized any.
Are you there?
Okay. Anyway, let's talk to James.
Who do we got? James?
Do we ever talk to James?
How are you doing?
Yeah. Hello.
Hello,
James. How's your giant peach?
You know what? My friends were just talking about how that's the name that pisses me off, or that nickname. James and Giant Peach.
What does? Oh!
James and Giant Peach. Yeah.
James.
Well, I didn't say it until right now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
him and his friends.
How would they know I was going to say that?
Probably nanomachines spying on him.
Yeah. He's doing some kind of prank on us.
What's going on?
There's no way anybody thought of that before me.
No.
Anyway,
you picked that out.
What's going on?
So anyway, how's it going? Nostradamus, what's up?
I just got off work, so I'm just kind of getting adjusted to the podcast right now, really enjoying it. And I actually want to talk about a little bit of Quiet. I really enjoyed her character a lot, and I thought that how you said before, Rocco, that she was or how you mentioned that how Metal Gear Solid 5 was like a roller coaster ride.
Yeah,
in terms of
Metal Gear theme park.
Yeah, I felt that Quiet was like your girl. Like, you know how the Bond girls, and even in Metal Gear, Snake has a girl, like Meryl, technically, and Ava in Metal Gear Solid 3. Not so much in 2, but...
No, Raiden.
You're riding with I forget her name.
Long hair, yeah.
Yeah, long hair. And that's how I felt about Quiet. That's what I really liked about her. But I wanted to know what you guys thought of, in terms of her character. Like, maybe did she ever find yourself that she was too offensive, or...
Offensive?
Or just...
We're pre-ordering Dead or Alive Extreme Beach 3, so...
Yeah, we're wrong people to ask.
I don't think that we're going to be offended by, I don't know,
ones
and zeros.
I do think, you know what? I do think it does, I will say this. It does suck when you play a game and, like, you want to play as a girl character. Maybe that's something you want to do. And in this whole giant cast, the only girl that's in it is, it's someone dressed like Quiet. And it, I can understand being like, oh man, really? Like, that's the only option.
Yeah.
But what I loved about the Phantom Pain
is
you can immediately switch to a different soldier and play as any kind of badass female chick that that you want.
And the costumes.
Yeah.
There's some DLC costumes where you can choose zipper up or zipper
Yeah.
down. Like Eva's jumpsuit from 3 is in there, and the boss's white sneaking suit is in there too.
Yeah.
And
So
it
is
really,
the,
it really gives you that option if you are playing with a female character. You can choose to have that thing zipped all the way up.
Yeah.
And you're like, soldier.
Yeah.
When you have it zipped down, they pretty much have Quiet's bust from the game.
Yeah.
The physics aren't quite there.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that there was always options for that.
Yeah.
You
So
didn't
it
have to
didn't-
play as a sexy girl, but you
Yeah.
could if you wanted to.
Exactly. So it didn't really bother me as much. There are some games where that's your only option, and I think that's kind of like, it's not like that offends me. I mean, I
But
guess
like,
I'm the wrong person to ask.
Did
but
Bayonetta offend you?
No. But no, that's true. But that Bayonetta was a great character that was able to again use that to her advantage and stuff like that. With Quiet, I mean, the way she was dressed didn't really add much to it, but I also didn't. I don't know. I also played with Snake with no shirt on, and I made him, covered in blood and dirt. I didn't. I don't know. I didn't really care.
It just.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say it sucks that trying to convince some of my girl gamer friends that they, I always say that Phantom Pain's the best game of the year so far. And they just don't want to get into it because they look at Quiet, the poster girl for the game, and they just think, oh, it's just another. They think it's even worse than the other Metal Gear girls, which Which is, and I can't really defend it other than you have to play the game.
Well,
to
it's
really
hard. The
understand
three
it.
of us men sitting here talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't worry that the girl's wearing a bikini. It comes off of as a little chauvinistic.
Why it never bothered me is just Metal Gear is every single aspect of it is heightened. And that's why things like Dead or Alive even don't bother me either. It's all about completely heightened characters, experiences, everything. Metal Gear is not in any way, shape, or form subtle. The bad guy is literally named Skullface. He has a skull for a fucking face. Snake, he's a guy with eye patch, big muscles. He's got the, he's got a gun.
Smokes cigars.
He smokes cigars. And so you have so the female characters are going to be really voluptuous and hot and sexy and whatever.
Well, that's what the game creator wants. That's
Yeah.
the story the game creator wants to tell.
Yeah.
And
It's all heightened. It's all heightened.
It's my opinion. If someone is too bothered by the story that the developer wants to tell, they should play a different game.
Yeah, but I will say, I mean, it does suck when something, is all kind of in a serious tone, and then you have one girl character that is only there for a sexual thing. I understand being like, oh man, but I don't think that's the case here.
Not
It's
at
all heightened. Heightened is the key. And again, just going with Bayonetta. Bayonetta is so out there, and she's such a badass character. There isn't a moment I can understand if everyone rules and the one woman sucks and all the guys beat her up and she's dressed up, whatever. That sucks. But things like Dead or Alive are cheese. They're just pure cheese.
It's only
everyone
fake and outlandish for our enjoyment.
Yeah, it's fucking bizarre, and I don't want to play any kind of character that looks like me. I want Snake to look fucking rogue badass guy. And again, I don't think there's anything wrong with heightening everything, as long as whatever. She was still really cool. I mean, even in her final chapter and everything, she was awesome. So
that was one
I
of
don't
my
know. It
favorite
didn't bother me.
moments in the game.
Well, you can also
great.
you can develop fatigues for her that she wears in that opening cutscene where she tries to assassinate you.
Yeah.
You can dress her up in all black fatigues.
Yeah. She looks cool, actually.
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah. So anyway, I think a problem in general with that stuff, not to go into it too much more, but there's a real difference between something serious with that stuff that's a bummer, like, oh man, kind of portrayal, and cheesecake. Cheesecake is its own genre, almost. And Metal Gear is fucking cheesecake, man. So it doesn't really,
The other part, this is a Eastern developed video game. I mean, this is a Japanese developer.
Yeah.
Very similar to anime that comes out over there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, like you said, heightened.
Everything's heightened.
Everything is exaggerated. And there's these tropes that have existed in anime and video games and media. And, I mean, you're taking a Western kind of idea, like this war, this crazy PMC war economy story.
Yeah.
But it's taken out of the Western world and made by Eastern Development Group.
Yeah.
They're taking and amping the things that they already amp up and just turning it up to 11. And her costume never once entered my mind. And that, coming from, my background, maybe it's different than someone else's background.
Yeah.
But I would really hope
it's all ridiculous. Whatever.
I would hope someone could get past that. I mean, I played... Granted, this is a long time ago, but video games where you'd put in a code to have like the cool borders naked, like and that was just funny to me. Yeah. Video game nudity up until this new Dead or Alive game, I gotta say, never really did anything for me, other than it's used in a way that's funny, or it's used in a way like all the nudity in Metal Gear 2 is hilarious. I mean, the cartwheels down the hallway holding your junk is right. Yeah. Japanese have always used. Wait a minute.
Japanese.
They've always used nudity as kind of like a humorous thing too. Yeah. I mean, that's not the case with Quiet, but maybe so. Like down watching her take a shower in her cell, and the cutscene that you got where you got super dirty and she actually showers with you.
Oh yeah.
Were you ever sitting there going like, "Oh, awesome," or were you just laughing like, "This is fucking ridiculous"?
Yeah, it's cheesecake.
Well, the big boss is getting to shower with the bikini girl. Like, in this story, that's what happens.
I'm not delicate enough to where and all the soldiers are going, "Oh man," that's all just stupid, and I don't.
Well, yeah, you put the poster on your cardboard box, and they'll literally run up and drop their weapon.
Yeah, it's
it's
super stupid, but it's not like anyone there is abusing her or you.
Well,
it's just stupid.
It all comes down to this is a pastime that we enjoy playing an electronic video game.
Yeah,
no one's getting hurt.
Yeah.
Quiet's not a real person. Stephanie Justin is, and she seems to be all about the character, so I don't think anyone's being taken advantage of.
Yeah. It just seems so weird that, out of all the characters, especially nowadays, like this year, Quiet, from any of the past, Dead or Alive games, Quiet seems to get that negative reception. Yeah. And why not anyone from last year or 2 years ago? I think we mentioned before Cortana, how in Halo 4, she got, big bust and everything.
It's an upgrade.
Yeah, she got an upgrade, but no one really complained about
Master
her.
Chief upped her RAM.
Yeah.
Now up yours.
It's just whatever. It's just kind of whatever the public is focused on at that moment. And even more recently, everyone was yelling about the Dead or Alive game. The new one.
Yeah.
And it's not coming here. Which, fine that it's not coming here. They didn't think it was going to be marketable. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Do I think it should come here? Yeah, I think it should come here. I wish it was.
We're gonna pre-order.
Yeah, I'm gonna pre-order the import version. And the thing is with that, I've said it before. There's serious stuff, and then there's cheesecake. And man, in that Dead or Alive game, no one's being abused or hurt. It's all fun.
It's beach volleyball.
It's heightened, super sexual fun, and no one's getting hurt. And no one is being told they're not as good as somebody else. No one's being put in a position where they suck. No one's being put in any kind of place where they don't matter. It's all fun. And there's so many things out there where people are being put in a situation of, you're not important, so don't do this. You're not good. And people looking at fucking pornography.
Actual pornography.
That is just nothing but just abusive and putting someone down in a demeaning way. That, I mean, a volleyball game.
Pick your battles, guys.
Yeah, pick your battles, man. Anyway, that's another tangent for another day. Whatever. But anyway, so back to the Quiet thing. No, I thought she was cool. It was a little goofy. The whole game was goofy. So be it.
Mm-hmm. Anyway. That's all I really had to say about Quiet. So
hell yeah.
I'll send the call. And thanks for taking it.
I hope everyone's enjoying the live broadcast.
Thank you very much, James.
Thank you.
Take care. See ya.
We got time for a couple more, maybe. Should we
Let's
lightning round it?
Yeah, let's do a quick lightning round.
We're over 2 hours, but I don't have to pee that bad yet.
Yeah.
It's strange.
But it's getting close. I could feel it coming on.
Metal Gear.
This is the Metal Gear stream.
Video games.
And we are talking about them games. So if you do want to call in and lightning round, I think we should just give them 10 seconds to get to the point.
Metal Gear.
Okay, B Biggie.
Hey, guys.
Someone said this in the chat. I do think we should do a Dead or Alive Extreme 3 spoiler cast.
Yeah?
When that comes
out?
Yeah.
Well, we both got it pre-ordered now. So it's coming.
Once we play it, we could talk about what swimsuits did you get? What did I get? You know,
whose tan lines look the best with what swimsuit combo?
You got some kind of plan?
Go ahead there, B Biggie.
Metal Gear.
Yeah. Well, speaking of characters, I kind of wanted to talk about Skullface.
All right.
And honestly, I like Skullface. I like his character, and I don't know if anyone noticed, but I like the little things he does. Like he never, I guess, backs away from a fight. In a sense, like when Big Boss confronts him, and I forgot what mission it was, but whatever, and he just like walks up to him, like without a gun or anything, he just walks up to him. And when the Sahelanthropus is like all loose and like just killing all his men, he never gets on a jeep and just runs away.
Yeah.
He's like just there.
That
and
scene,
just tells his men just to shoot at it. And
that scene,
I just found that interesting.
He calls in like a whole fucking volley of tanks and fucking gunships. I mean, they go out of that hangar and he's calling in reinforcements, and there's like 8 tanks coming over the hill and helicopters coming in to shoot on it. You're right. He really does stick to his guns and go after his opponent.
Especially when he's like just like I guess cornered with all like the flames and stuff.
Yeah.
He just like just kill me, just take me, like whatever.
Well, I think
like,
he sees that his plan's already come to fruition, and he knows that, hey, I've already done my job. Let Sahelanthropus kill me because its mere existence in the world is going to carry on my mission.
I liked Skullface. I thought he was great as kind of villain of the week.
Really,
I do. If I could tweak the story, I do wish there was a little more there with him.
Yeah.
Just because I kind of felt like playing Ground Zeroes, I kind of got a glimpse of like, shit, man, this guy's going to be bad news, and he was. But then it kind of wraps up and it's fine. But that being said, I go back and play all that stuff, and I'm like, well, there really wasn't. That might have been my own projection. I don't know. So I thought what was there was fine. I would have maybe added a little more if I was doing it. But
and even towards the end, when like he's dying and he tells a Big Boss to just kill him.
Yeah.
He's just like still like sticks to his guns.
Yeah.
And again, I agree with you, Rock. I really wish there was more of him. I really wish maybe a mission, maybe a like cutscene to show more of him, because I really thought he was an interesting character, but it's just like I guess a throwaway. And at least that's how I saw it.
Yeah. Well, his whole plan to rid the world of the English language and set it into chaos. I mean, it's interesting where his motives came from for that. Mm-hmm. His whole origin, and you only really get him in the tapes about the weapons manufacturing that was going on in his village and how they bombed it. His revenge on the world for that. It would have been cooler if they would have expounded on that. I agree.
Yeah, sure, a little more of them, but I dug him for where he was.
Whereas all the other games, you really definitely have like a boss. Like in 3, Volgin was the boss of the game. In this, it's almost like Skullface with Kid Mantis and the Man on Fire are all kind of
Kid Mantis.
Kid Boo.
I like Lil Mantis.
Lil Mantis.
I like Baby Mantis.
I hope everyone's enjoying the live broadcast.
Some like kids, some like babies. But
men.
Almost all 3 of them together were that boss force that
Yeah.
you have to go through and take out one by one. But yeah, it was a little lackluster as a main driving force enemy. It was almost unsure of his plan coming together because his allies start to turn on him.
Yeah.
Mantis goes off with Eli because he realizes like, I want to help this kid instead of this Skullface.
Yeah.
And his whole plan kind of falls apart. And you mentioned real quickly that scene at the end where he is pinned under the flames and your whole helicopter party shows back up to take him out.
Yeah.
That was so fucking cool and really ring true for the scene in Peace Walker where you have to pull the trigger on the boss.
Are you talking about Snake Eater?
It is in Snake Eater, but in Peace Walker they do it again too. You're flashing back.
Oh, really?
And you have to. I'm thinking of it from there, but it is. You're right. It is in there. You got to pull the trigger. You and Kaz. He comes up and grabs your arm with you, and they start fucking pulling the trigger together, and it's flashing back to Kaz's arm being gone, and his eyes being glazed over, and like his former self, and them getting the revenge and shooting his legs off and shooting his arm off, and that was a really fucking cool revenge.
Yeah, that was a cool moment.
Point where you're interacting with the cutscene in that game.
Yeah.
But thank you for your call, brother.
Oh wait, I'm sorry, but one more thing I wanted to bring up. It has to do with like the behind the scenes with Kojima and Konami. Like a lot of the comments, like complaining about the game ending or just the game in general. I saw a lot with the Kojima hate. I mean the Konami hate. I saw like a lot of Kojima hate, like people blaming Kojima for how the game turned out. With like the ending, the microtransactions, yada, stuff like that. What do you guys think about that?
I mean,
that sums it up.
Yeah, microtransactions are not a developer's field. That's a publisher, I think.
I don't really know. I didn't deal with any of that, so I don't know.
Now, from how it sounds to me, it's like, and I love Kojima, and he's a perfectionist, and he wants to put out the best game he can. So he was asking for a lot. I mean, this game made a lot of money.
Yeah.
And it has been profitable.
Yeah.
But it also cost a fuck ton of cash. I mean, it fucking bankrupts Konami from what we kind of heard for a while.
Yeah, that's what I kept seeing. Like people kept bringing up, like, oh, he spent $2 million, like part of the budget on the licensed songs. Ugh, I don't know.
Yeah, but that was a part of the game for me that made it so good. Was the licensed songs?
Yeah, that added to it significantly.
So in a way, I feel like Konami is putting a lot of money in on the game, and at a point they gotta go, hey, we gotta cut it off. Yeah. Finish the fucking game. Also, the timeline was getting extended and extended and extended. It's like, guys, finish the game. We gotta put it out. So I don't know how you could say it's one person's fault or the other's. I think this is just how the business turned out, and I think that we got a great product. In the end, could it have been better? Yes. Fucking Star Wars could have been better if Lucas had $1 million to make the first one. Who knows? But we did with what he had, and we got A New Hope, and it was great. I think with the climate and everything that happened with Konami, with Kojima, with this Phantom Pain release, we got the best fucking thing we got, and there's no worrying about what didn't.
I don't worry so much about what wasn't there. I had a blast playing 100 hours of what I got.
100 plus.
So that's what I don't put a lot of whatever into that.
But thank you very much.
Thank you. This was supposed to be lightning round.
I know.
So
sorry guys.
Goodbye.
Good job.
I have that problem sometimes. On the PPS, I tell them lightning round.
Okay, rapid fire.
Okay, I'm going to count 10 seconds. Go ahead.
Clay.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Hey, lightning round. What did you have to say?
Oh, sorry. What was your favorite pre-release thing? Like all those ruses he had. Like there was Joachim Mogren and all that stuff.
Oh, I loved the first teaser at the
Moby Dick Studios.
Yeah, the first Phantom Pain thing. I thought I must have watched that 100 times.
Yeah, where you didn't know that this was a Metal Gear game. You didn't know it was Fox Engine. You're just seeing this Ishmael guide a bandaged man through a hallway, and everyone. That was definitely like, what the fuck is this? And even while that was being streamed live, people were saying, this looks like Metal Gear. This looks like Fox Engine.
And everyone suspected as much. But, something, I don't remember if I said this before, but we were in the room at GDC when Kojima came in and took the bandaged head off and revealed it was him. And they showed the Phantom Pain for a Metal Gear game that it was. And I remember sitting in there as they played that trailer with the garbage song, We Are Not Your Kind of People. And that was like, fuck, I love this fucking series. That was a big moment for me.
Well, yeah, I mean, the guy that we've met and worked with all of a sudden we didn't know he was there, and or did we?
It was going to be Kojima's panel, but nobody knew they would show that there.
But then he pulled this fucking thing off, and it's like, oh yeah, that's him in the thing. Before it wasn't, in the earlier footage and stuff like that.
At what point did you guys realize that it was Metal Gear?
Well, I mean, if you want...
the rumors were there.
From the beginning, it was, is this Metal Gear? Is this Metal Gear? Is this Metal Gear?
Yeah.
I mean, whatever.
I had a Twitter account. I had a Joachim Mogren Twitter account.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And everyone immediately knew it was Metal Gear. Because I just
but there was still that non-confirmation that was fun about it. Yeah.
And I'll say even our first little peek at playable Fox Engine was PT.
Playable.
PT, for me, kind of fits into the whole Metal Gear and Ground Zeroes. Yeah. It's like Ground Zeroes, the Phantom Pain, and PT were kind of this last hurrah of Kojima and Konami. And it's interesting, and it's a real sadness if the fucking Fox Engine doesn't get used for more stuff.
Yeah.
That engine.
They use it for like their sports games or something.
Are they going to do the PES, the PEGI 1117?
I think they already are, but it just seems like such a
did
waste
use it for that.
They did?
But the guy who runs the Fox engine for them that did it for that game left. So no one knows what's going on.
Look at all the funds and the time that went in to develop this beautiful environment.
Yeah.
Well, that's the problem with like everyone saying how expensive Metal Gear Solid 5 was.
Yeah.
Metal Gear Solid 5 wasn't as expensive as people think it was.
Yeah.
It's just they lumped the development of the Fox engine into the development cost of Metal Gear Solid 5.
Yeah,
which you don't do for games. Which is it's just odd that they're doing that.
For Gears of War, you don't count the entire Unreal Engine process.
Yeah.
I get
It's
you.
true.
Well, hey, good lightning round.
Why don't you stop playing dumb?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Clay.
That was Clay.
Okay, real fast. Sword.
I know. I got it. Ooh.
Sword waifu. We're gonna. Whoops. Sword didn't work. Okay.
Mick Icy.
Mick Icy. Mick Icy. Lightning round.
Video games.
Oh, hey. Yeah, I was just wondering because I've been playing the FOB missions. What you guys thought of that?
I didn't mess with those at all.
I have found that to be my real challenge. When I am now, very familiar with the layout of my own mother base, that's essentially what you're invading on. So I love going to do the FOB missions. That's where I feel like I really get to play something difficult.
Sure.
Because if I've got to traverse all 3 sections of a mother base unit, and it's crawling with soldiers, and they're all fucking armored up, and there's fucking turrets. It's really then up to me to utilize, and I can't call in for more refills on my ammo or my suppressors or anything. I got to use everything in my inventory to stun, distract, take out, sneak past, confuse.
Yeah.
I'm using all the decoys. By the time I get to the end of an FOB mission, I am like fucking out of ammo, out of all my shit. Hopefully I haven't been discovered yet. And that's where the sense of accomplishment is huge for me. When I get through
I can see that.
another guy's base and I have stolen all his shit.
Oh, that's awesome.
Because it's way harder than playing the game out in Soviet soldier land.
Yeah.
The AI is really good, and Mother Base is tight corners. There's not a lot of hiding spots.
Yeah.
And the guys are geared the fuck out when you go in.
That's cool. Well, I'll have to try that a little bit more, but as it stands, I don't really
and that's something that I've only been doing after beating the game.
Yeah.
For money. I want to get into disarming their nukes and stuff like that. Because this whole metagame going on in the background right now of a certain cutscene might unlock if enough nukes get built, and then if they all get dismantled, another one might. People have data mined the PC version and found these.
Oh, yeah.
But they haven't even come into fruition on the consoles yet.
Yeah,
it's just interesting that this game, I think, has legs. People are going to be finding stuff for a while.
Yeah, I think so too. Drake.
It's too quiet.
Drake. Lightning round.
Fucking Drake.
What's up, guys?
Drake.
What's up?
It's lightning round.
What?
Yo.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I know it sounds strange to most people.
Yo, I agree with everything you said on the game.
Hell yeah.
Great review, better than Kotaku. All I had to say was the game surpassed every expectation I had. There was some stuff missing, but that was all right. But I played every AAA game released this year. Nothing come close to how much I enjoyed that game.
Oh my god!
How every single spending 200 hours and never being bored of it. No game comes close.
GW's cutting the feed.
I'm playing Fallout right now, and I'm almost 50 hours in and I'm getting bored of it. But Metal Gear at no point.
Yeah.
I want to go back to Metal Gear, and I feel like
Yeah, me too. I want to go back to it as well.
I've been continually going back. I played, like I said, I played my Benicio del Toro fantasy last night, and I've been jumping in every.
Stuff like that is exactly what I do. Is I'll think well, I did this mission already. What if I used the fully upgraded Deed Walker? What would that do? I took this last time. What if I blow it up? Or what if I use?
I think he said Lalaloolay low, and the feed's getting cut.
Yeah, I think the Patriots are cutting.
The Patriots are on to you,
but
brother.
thank you. We agree, man.
Thank you very much, Drake.
Thank you for your call.
His connection was a little shoddy, but
it's okay.
I think he hit the nail right on the head. He's gonna constantly want to go back and play more of that game.
I agree.
And other AAA titles, I've been watching. I've been watching a lot of Assassin's Creed Unity gameplay.
Yeah.
Hey, and the stuff I really like in that game is well, I like this because that's what I would do in Metal Gear.
Yeah,
I would scout all these dudes and then go into my Eagle Vision, which is basically after you've scouted them, they light up behind walls, and then sneak up and assassinate them.
Yeah,
It's wow, I think I would like Assassin's Creed now, only from playing Metal Gear.
Well, the new one's cheap now.
It is.
Hey, how's it going? Grime Child, this is Lightning Round.
What's up, Grimes?
Quick comment or question.
Yeah. I was going to ask, what is something that you think was like not subtle enough or too subtle in the game?
Not subtle enough.
Not subtle enough. I didn't guess the ending. I didn't outright guess the ending, but I knew something was up.
Really? Yeah.
From the get-go, I knew this guy. Something's going on. This guy's either someone's not Snake, or there's a clone, or this or that. One way or another, there's tampering with that.
Yeah.
And maybe they could have been a little more subtle with that. But again, it seems like the Japanese aren't super heavily guarded with twists and secrets.
Yeah.
So that might be a
how you said with how they spoiled too much with
so that could be a cultural disconnect. That's me. I wish they were a little more subtle with those.
The credits before
things.
each mission.
It
could have been a little more subtle. That is really one of the only things I can knock against the package being put together in a whole. Yeah, they left some stuff out, but I don't know the reasons behind that. But the credits before spoiling what's going to happen.
I can see that.
That was a little.
They didn't piss me off, but I could see
it didn't even benefit you. If it would have told you when you picked the mission featuring the skulls, then when you're in the loadout screen, okay, grenade launcher, rocket launcher, I need to gear out for the skulls. Yeah. But it's after you've picked your loadout that you're in the AAC, it shows featuring. It's like, well, it's too late to go back and get my shit.
I see in the chat somebody saying that the fact that people were able to accurately guess that the medic is Venom before the game was even released is probably a bad sign.
It's
something that you
need.
Same
voice actor.
Sure, but something that people need to realize too is you can't do payoff based storytelling at all anymore. Period. Without basically when you do any kind of payoff based thing or twist based thing, you are crowdsourcing that to a
billion people,
a field of 1 million people processing it and posting. It could be this. 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 So anything on Earth, you need to not read internet theories on before it comes out.
Because of course someone got that right, and
yes.
to say Metal Gear sucked because you weren't Big Boss, you were the medic the whole fucking time.
Yeah.
Fuck you. That is the easiest cop-out bullshit answer.
But anything, that's just going to happen with anything.
Yeah.
And what was it recently? I remember that happened with the ending of, this is random and I won't spoil it, the ending of Boardwalk Empire. A bunch of people pieced together a bunch of shit and guessed that ending and posted it on all these sites. I think if you look into it, it's obviously going to be da-da-da-da-da-da. And if
historical figures.
And if you read it, it was like, that's probably is what's going to happen. And that's what happened. And all these people held that against the show. Fuck you. We came up with that ending on our blog a month ago. Yeah.
Yeah, and I conceived it 2 years ago.
But I enjoyed it because I didn't read the fucking blog. You know, it's like there's a ton of people already guessing Star Wars now. There's, you can't do that. You got to stay off that shit if you want to maintain that.
Jar Jar is a Sith Lord. I didn't know if you knew.
And the Pixar movies are all in the same universe. They're all in the Star Wars universe. And Mon Mothma is Andy's mom. And also, when they say all the Bothans died, they're talking about Andy's dad was a Bothan.
Yuck.
So that's my fan theory. Anyway, thank you, Grime Child.
That's his headcanon.
Thanks for taking my call.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Should we
rapid fire?
Should we wrap it, or do you want to keep going?
Let's do last call.
All right.
Shoot Dad Teen Pregnancy Boy. I don't like his name.
That's a hell of a name.
I just hung up. That's a weird name.
Pregnancy.
That's controversial.
That is controversial.
Zach. He's a Lego maniac.
Why don't you stop playing dumb?
Zach.
Okay.
Final call, lightning round, and you got the final call. End it on a good note. Everyone will remember it. Go ahead.
Okay. I love the game. I 100%ed it. Loved all of it. I had a real quick question for you guys.
Sure.
Based on what did you guys think of the boss battles in this game?
The boss battles it didn't really feel like the traditional Metal Gear boss battles. It was different. Does that make kind of sense to you? Like, you didn't have, okay, here's these 5 members of a terrorist unit, or here's these elite hunters that are coming down to get you in cybernetic gear. It was just, this might happen throughout the story. Oh my god, you have to fight the man on fire and douse him with all these water towers and stuff. Whoa, I didn't expect this boss fight. Oh, the skulls popped out, and it's a whole unit, and I've got to kind of fight them in a different way than I would. It wasn't that very similar, like Boss 1, Boss 2, Boss 3, Boss 4. It was, here's a group of guys that are tough.
Yeah, it was a situation.
Here's one guy, hey, here's Skullface, you fucking killed him. Oh shit, the robot fight, here's fighting a Metal Gear. It was different. It wasn't so linear, 1, 2, 3, 4 of the subordinates, then you fight Liquid, the main guy, you know?
Yeah. I thought it was fine. I do love that they have the groups of bosses in the other Metal Gear games.
Yeah.
But I think it's really a cop-out. A lot of people holding it to that, like, where's my group of bosses like we always get? This is a different fucking game.
Yeah.
I don't care.
But you do get a sniper battle that's very reminiscent of the end.
Yeah.
You're instead of you're using. Did you have to use your mic on the end to hear the bird, the parrot? Was that one technique
for the end?
When you would fight the end in Metal Gear 3?
I remember
use the mic, right? So in this,
I would hear him breathing.
You're using the mic on your scope to listen to her humming.
Yeah.
You know, that song, which that got annoying to some people.
Yeah, you know, I don't know if I just have a high tolerance or what, but two things that I always hear about
when we're playing. You're focused in. I hear that complaints from people watching you play.
Yeah.
People watching me play were like,
humming,
God.
The humming didn't bother me, and neither did the crying in Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island.
Oh, yeah.
That's another thing I always hear. I couldn't play that because I couldn't take the
baby
crying. Yeah, I just tuned that out. I don't know. Anyway.
I just didn't like that eel. Scary eel.
Yeah, scary-ass eel.
Why don't you stop playing dumb?
Yeah, I was going to say that, I agree that the boss battles wasn't a big thing for me. But it kind of, you know, when I play I've been playing, you know, like Garrett since Metal Gear Solid 1.
Yeah.
And Mantis was such a huge deal to me.
Sure, the boss fights are kind of part of the Metal Gear experience.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I liked Skullface. I liked the Man on Fire. I thought they were rad characters, and it was like, oh, I wish I could have had something more with Skullface, like fighting Skullface, or maybe young Mantis, something I don't know, using the camera, the PS.
Because that's what I was thinking too.
With it or something.
Some kind of boss. It would have been cool to have some kind of boss fight that was unlike any other, you know, and in the way that other Metal Gear games do. I mean, there's no boss fight like the end.
Yeah.
There is no boss fight like that. Psycho Mantis. There is no boss fight like that in video games.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree. It would have been cool to have one at least that in 5 where it was like, whoa, what did you do? It actually wanted me to hold up the PlayStation camera and it looked at the color on the controller. It wanted me to walk up to the TV and whisper into the camera. Something where it's like, holy shit, that's how you beat him? You know, so that would have been cool. I agree, but I didn't feel robbed or anything.
Was there really? Yeah, in Metal Gear 4 they had the, oh no, it's DualShock now? Oh, what has happened? You know, there was still that link to real reality, you in your living room with a physical piece of hardware doing something different. That really didn't happen in this. But
no, I mean, there's a speaker in the controller now. It would have been cool to have like somebody whispering something to you. But again, it's multi-platform, so you couldn't really do that on other things. That's the one drawback to things that are on a bunch of consoles.
The game did talk to you through when it was, I believe it's Donna Burke's voice of the iDroid.
Yeah.
The iDroid talked to me through the controller all the time.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
And that was a cool little touch to the technology.
Let me just say that too. That's a gimmicky thing. I love having a speaker in the controller.
Yeah.
The Wii had that, and I loved it. No More Heroes, when you get a call and she would talk to you through the thing.
Oh, yeah.
That's a great detail, and I love that.
In Zelda, you would flick and it would...
Or The Last of Us, when I hit the flashlight, it clicks in the thing. It's just responsive. I like that. Even though that seems like a gimmick, I love having a speaker in the controller. I think that's a great touch. Anyway, so that's all. That was Lightning Round. Thank you, Zach.
Thank you, Zach.
My call.
Hell yeah.
Can you do like a little spin?
Yeah.
To take us out?
Spin it.
Watch this. Check this
out. Look at that. I want to see this. Hold on. Let me get him.
What did you say?
Whoa!
Oh my
shit.
God. Did he drop
something? I gotta cut it. He looked like he pissed his pants.
Shit.
It looked like he pissed his pants.
Shit.
Anyway, all right. Well, what do you think?
I think that's it. I think we should go out. I think let's go out on a high note. Let's listen to a little remix of the Love Theme by Jackie Presley here. And thank you all for watching. Thank you for waiting patiently. I know we plugged this stream months ago, and it's finally came to fruition. We've all beat the game. Well, two of us. I was hoping we were going to have Brian on.
Yeah, Brian and Kevin. And then I find out they're both like halfway through it. Like, what the hell?
Haven't even beat it yet.
Great job.
But they will, and eventually I think we'll be hearing a lot from them. So stay tuned. There's plenty more Thanksgiving, Black Friday cast surprises. We've been going live at random times.
Yeah.
I came and spooked Sean good last night.
Oh, nice.
And we've been shipping merch here in the background this whole time.
Yeah.
Thank you to Kevin, by the way, who put headphones on as not to be spoiled.
Yeah.
This whole thing.
What did you say?
If you get a chance, seriously, check out our Blu-ray we just put out. Mega64 paid DLC expansion pack. Whatever the hell. No.
Oh, I put them over.
Copies of it. If you get a chance, check out our Blu-ray. It just came out. Mega64 paid DLC expansion pack, exclusive early access on disc unlockables.
It's here.
It's out. We're shipping tons of them. So check that out. If you like this, you want to see more streams, support us. Check us out there. We are also on Patreon if merchandise isn't your thing. Check out patreon.com/mega64. You can support us on there. However you do it, we appreciate it. And we're shipping your stuff out now.
We're shipping the stuff. Here, can you hit a couple buttons here for me?
Okay.
Don't move around too much.
That's good. That's a good one.
Zanzibar.
Oh.
Zanzibar. It's strange. It's too quiet. It's too quiet. Strange. I hope everyone's enjoying the
Whoa,
live
listen to that. Hold on, where was that one?
It's too quiet.
Dude, they knew about quiet back in Metal Gear Solid 2. That was...
You got some kind of plan?
That's confirmed. If you want to slice us out of here, just give a good hack and we'll cut the feed right off here and slice it right in half. Okay, ready?
Hey, Sean, when you edit this next week, add a slashing effect. Ready?
Yeah.
Zan Dat Su!